is our turn. If my mouse would work, I would even have a lot more fun than I'm having right now. It's hard to run a board when the mouse keeps going on and off on you. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Outside the Box, another open forum here with yours truly, Kate of Gaia, and of course, co-host Tony. As soon as Tony gets on the board, we'll have words from him as well. Just changing up mouse here. Oh yeah, let's see if this one. Oh, this one works. I've got two mouses. Can't really say mice, you know. It doesn't work for computers. There's Tony. Click. All right. Now I can actually function. I have a mouse that works. Anyway, it's been a bit of a marathon day today. I was on with Wolf Spirit Radio earlier today, and then followed up with Open Your Mind Ireland with Alan and Steve, and of course Tony, and Wolf Spirit Radio with Dave and Tracy. Dean was to be on that show this morning, and of course his schedule is all over the grid, so I got called, and here we are, third time the charm. So let's see if we can get this done tonight and have some fun with people. And by the way, I've only been doing Blog Talk for a year now. I never knew when someone presses 1 what actually comes up on the board, and then I noticed it last night. There's a tiny little question mark that comes up beside the mic. And I thought, what's that for? Oh, it's a question. Someone has a question. Oh, there we go. 612 just put the question up there. So I know you have a question. Yay! So anyway, I won't bother others that are just listeners now, and we're going to save a whole lot of time. So if at any point during the show you want to jump in, just hit 1, and of course the little question mark will come up, and yours truly will actually know what the hell is going on. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, it's going to make life quite a bit easier, isn't it? Screening calls all the time.
Yeah, you know, I'm like being an expert on radio. That's, you know, I never ever claimed to be that. I just claimed to be a mouthpiece, you know. So I got that part covered pretty good, huh?
Interesting. And that means, I guess, as well, when I get on, I can actually hit a 1. I was actually here when you started the show, but you didn't see me. So,
oh no, I didn't see you because all the phone calls, and you can't come in at the bottom, and I was having trouble with the mouse scrolling down to actually be able to see you.
That's cool. I was just going to say I can use it next time to put my hand up.
Well, I know you've got your hand up. You're a host, right up. That's funny.
You know.
Yeah. So anyway, not sure where I really want to begin tonight. Someone was going to come on tonight, but she had a couple of prior engagements, so I believe she'll be on Tuesday night show. And we have other guests coming up, of course, so you won't have to just tolerate the, me talking and Tony talking all the time. We'll get some other people in as well, because that is what we're all about, getting word out from people to people. I was contacted the other day by, actually been contacted by a few people. Lori is an individual that I definitely want to get on the air, and just got word from, I believe it's Pamela. I'm going to make sure I got this right. I am probably incorrect in that. It feels it. Why does it feel like it should be Patty? Anyway, I'll know in a sec. Oh, more contact requests coming in. Boy, you guys are waking up. It was Patty. Okay, yeah, Patty tagged me as well today on Facebook, so if you're tuned in, Patty, I got your message. I do want to do a little shout out with regards to Facebook. I have a very difficult time with Facebook messaging people back. What are the odds? Go figure. It is a royal pain in the rump to try to type anything because letters don't want to go in. Sometimes the page doesn't even want to boot up where I can actually write something. When I do write something, I'm having to go back and edit and whatever. So if I do not reply to you on Facebook, it's not because I don't love you. It's just because it is a royal pain in the rump, and I will try to acknowledge you on the air anyway. And I did want to mention something to Asif with regards to any comments I'm making that might seem anti-male. It's not anti-male at all. I'm both, guys. I can't be sexist, okay? Get over it. Seriously. No, it's what I'm trying to outline is this is where, you see, there's where the feminine comes into play. The feminine is all about emotions, right? And the emotions can override your masculine intent, logic, whatever you want to call it, right? Creative right, analytical left. And when the creative right gets a little out of control, what you have is an override of the analytical left to keep it all sane, right? To keep it, especially in this realm. So always be mindful of that. Anytime you're getting emotional, you're actually accessing your feminine side. And that's why any guy, whatever, tells nothing feminine about me, and says, well, you just get pissed off, you have emotions. Obviously there is. Unless you were Spock, at which point then you might have an argument with me, but I don't think there's too many of those beings running around that I've found anyway. There are soulless, heartless ones that haven't got a concept of emotion, but what we're talking about here is learning how to bring them under control. I will use a biblical concept to try to bring this home for you. The wife must be subservient to the husband. Doesn't mean that makes women a second-rate human. What it's actually saying is this. This is where you get to learn how to read the Bible properly. And I will have a few things to say with regards to Christianity and all the rest of the churchianity psychosis that are ingrained into people. The wife must be subservient to the husband. All things emotional are female, feminine, creative, right energy. All things of the mind are masculine, left, analytical. All right, so let's try that again. When we understand that the wife must be subservient to the husband, what is being said is this. The emotions must be subservient to the mind. All right, that's about getting it into balance. As I was talking with Tony earlier today, and of course Dave and Tracy, I was talking about what the real 0-point energy is. It's you. Okay? The real God, the real creator, is not outside thinking, this is why you have to bring it all home, people. You bring it home to you. You are a creator. Are you not part of creation? What part of creation didn't Creator make? If you can answer honestly that somehow you're outside this realm of reality or spirituality or anything altogether, that you're not actually here and connected and listening to this show right now, if you can prove that to me, good luck. Because quite frankly, I will take a certain cool guy at his, teachings who said, God is light year gods, and I said, okay, I can have that. I can take responsibility. I don't have to look outside of me and blame some penis-bearing, gray-haired wanker in the sky that likes to murder his son. No, that's not a good idea. That's placing an idol. That's idol worship. Have no idols before thee. What part of before thee aren't you getting? Thee, theos, God. That's what the means. It's theos, God. Theology, ring a bell with anybody? Theology, which is God, the study of. Okay, got it? So you are the one. Get over it. And the sooner you get this concept, the sooner you let this sink home, the sooner you'll stop with the programs. The program was ingrained deeply within you. It was ingrained within me. I came up through all of that, went to a Baptist church. I was raised Protestant, Northern Irish, Orange, from a family that was Masonic all the way back to when it started. I'm the only one that isn't. What are the odds of that, right? So again, everything in my life has been a complete mirror, flip over, right? Where we were raised to rah-rah the queen, I'm thinking, no thank you. How about we just get rid of that whole notion altogether? And then we're going to talk a little bit about what money is. I've had a few good questions today from people. We're going to talk a little bit about what money really is and how you are enslaving your fellow man by worshiping it and going after the skin of others called money. Okay, so anyway, so I do want to cover a couple of concepts, and I want to get into some wordplay tonight. That's my goal anyway. Tony, what about you? What do you got in your mind?
Really, just seeing where this one goes. Hoping to
wind the cat up, let her go, huh?
Yeah, okay. But no, I'm just interested to see where this one goes. I'm really enjoying, seeing things unfold, and exploring some really pretty deep concepts at the moment. But,
well,
good.
That's exactly where we're going here. So, hoping that I can get a few other really neat concepts across to people tonight and every night. Of course, we do this every night. It's like I have something better to do with my life. Really, I think I will give up everything and just talk on the radio out of sheer desperation. That sounds like a great plan. Let's do that. Same boat for you, Tony. You know, it's actually beyond laughable at this point, but that's okay. We're getting the job done, and that's all I care about. People are waking.
Exactly.
And we bring this puppy home. I was reading a prediction from someone. It's kind of funny. By the year 2033, we'll be completely awake, and what was the other thing? There were a few things about it. Anyway, I'm thinking, honey, you're off target by infinity, because I only live now. So the world changes now. I don't have to wait 30, or what is it? This is 20 years from now for this planet to awaken. If you honestly believe this planet's going to survive 20 years for this bullshit going on, give your head a proverbial shake and get it out of your arse, because it's going to hurt if you shake it in there.
Yep. Totally.
Oh, I love your computer, Tony. It's so noisy. What's that?
I said, oh, it's doing it again, is it?
Oh, yeah, it's constant, man. It's constant. It's just got this beautiful 1970s sci-fi movie sound effect going on. They should actually bottle it and put it into a keyboard as a 70s movie effect. But anyway, there you go. And hello, Michael Halley. Just got tagged here. Thanks to all the people that have been tagging me left, right, and center here on Facebook. So I do my best to make note of everybody, and if I don't, it's not, again, because I don't love you. It's because there are so freaking many of you. It's a bit overwhelming, so thank you for that. I like being overwhelmed in this way. Means you're getting it, I'm getting it, we're resonating, we're becoming the dominant frequency, all other frequencies rise to match us. That works for me. That works for me. All right, well, let's go on the churches first, because that's probably one of my favorite targets. That's one thing that Santo and I definitely have, and Tony, we definitely have this in common. You see, what we're dealing with here, and I'm not going to be gentle, okay? I'm done being gentle, because I can be nice for so long until people, still want to kick and scream and say that, God is this and God is that, and church is this and church is that. You haven't got a clue, because the people teaching you don't have a clue either. You're being led by the blind. Woe to ye lawyers, for you have corrupted the truth. Unfortunately, most of these clergy, lawyers, whatever you want to call them, they're all the same thing. Church and court are the same thing, guys. They're all church. They're all clergy. Okay? Clergy. Start looking at these guys for what they are. You'll start to understand. Like, at what point is your are you going to let your minister push you around and tell you got to do this, that, and the other? Well, that's what judges are. They're just clergy. Start looking at them and disrobe them for what they are. All right? Lose the concept of the divine Trinity somehow being all masculine. Not a lot of creation coming out of that, because no one really defines the Holy Spirit. They don't tell you that it's a divine, feminine, creative, loving essence, right? And they certainly put it third in the list. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Yeah, you got that backwards, guys. Mother, child, father. Mother, father, child. Mother always comes first. Sorry, that's just the way magnetics and electricity works. Okay? Electricity comes out of magnetism. That's where it was birthed. Out of magnetism. Chicken and the egg. Magnetism, chicken. Electricity, egg. Right? We're dealing with patriarchal. Everything's flipped backwards, where you now have, and I refer to this as probably where, excuse me, a thief might have got the wrong idea here. So I'll try to explain it better. That was my fault. All right. How do we explain this? The male, or the masculine, okay, is, and I'm going to use this word because it's the only one that really fits, is an abomination in terms of creation. It is one aspect in creation that cannot self-procreate. It cannot recreate itself. It must go to another that can, i.e. the female. So the male is always at a subservient beneficiary to the fiduciary role, not to make less of. I'm trying to illustrate the abomination of it and how we need to fix this. We're supposed to be androgynous, the two in one creating the third, neutral, which is your 0-point energy, creating the Holy Trinity of one. That's where we don't have the duality anymore. What we have is the triality, if you will, or the Trinity, creating the one. Because in duality, you have one or the other, or one and the other. You don't have singularity in division, right? And that's what 3D realm's all about. It's all about duality, division. So I'm trying to bring it up one notch to the Trinity, the triality. There's a new word. I haven't heard that one before. Okay, so when I say that the male is an abomination, I'm not talking, guys, you're all a bunch of abominations. No, the concept of. Okay, and this is where there should be, if there's going to be any emotion, it should be a sense of loss of that ability to create within oneself. Okay, that's certainly how I feel. That's kind of the nature of a two-spirit, being caught between worlds, not being one or the other, and being one and the other at the same time. Right? Zero pointing. So hopefully that's a little bit clearer. It's not about, I'm not being derogatory at all. Actually, if anything, there's nothing I have but pity on the whole male aspect. Yet most males won't understand that because they're too busy either getting consensual sex or raping. I don't know about you, but the only thing that drives a male to rape is that urge to create, whether it's terror or some warped sense of I need to procreate, so I just go out and rape women. That's the abomination, and that's where we have the problem within our psyche, the spirit key, spirit of life. Okay, there's one of the words, right? I should pull up a few documents at some point during the show to crack some words, or better yet, I'll just take some calls and we'll chat, and then I'll pick some words out and show you what you're really saying. Rest assured, though, the spell has been broken. It has no more power. Once a fraud is revealed, it's null and void, non-tunk. Here is the fraud. Every word means its exact what you think it means and its opposite. And that's where the courts, church, have always used it against us. It's all about assumption and presumption. You said right, right? Right, right. Which one did you mean? Well, the one that I meant, my intention was to be correct. And the one that they assume it to be is ritual, the rite, R-I-T-E. So they ritualize you. Right? Starting to get it? Okay, it's a tricky little game, but it's one that's been exposed for the light. So actually hoping if Asif is listening tonight, he could tag back via Facebook. It was a beautiful point you had made, and gratefully received. Now, somebody did have their hand up in here in the room. Okay, again, if you do want to get into the call here, just hit one, and of course there's some people that just don't have a choice. They're in the call whether they want to be or not. And I don't have to say a word because unmuted just got said. Yes, Carol?
Well, you caught me by surprise there, baby. How are you?
Good. I mean, it wouldn't be fun if I didn't, right?
Yeah, I love surprises sometimes. So your day has been a very busy day. I'm glad I didn't try to call you.
Oh, well, I'd answered the phone anyway, but I did manage to take a half an hour for myself, went meditated, and actually got into a quick run back out, so it was good.
Oh, bless your heart. Well, I love your essence, and I'm glad that you have these calls for us. So I know how tiring it is, how exhausting it must be for you every day for 2 or 3 hours just on these calls, and then, zapping your energy for other calls, too. My goodness.
Well, no, it is draining, and I don't think people realize, well, you're just talking. It's like I used to say about playing music, right? Yeah, well, I'm just sweating it out for 3-4 hours on a stage. Never mind, the countless hours I went into, getting ready for it and rehearsing and doing all that, right? People just take it for granted that wow, they just got together and learned those songs just like now. No, that takes a bit of time. Just like these shows, they take a little bit of rehearsal and talk and research, right?
Well, you do a very good job, sweetheart, and I sure love you a lot. And keep doing what you're doing because we need you really badly.
Well, in as much, and I will throw the mirror right back at you, in as much as I need you. This is how we do this. We don't do it alone. We do this together. And if but two minds unite on the concept, the twinkling of an eye occurs. Because a postulate is just a postulate, an idea, a thought, a truth. It's just that. It is powerless until it is agreed with. And as soon as two minds meet, it says that in the book too, as soon as two minds meet, in the same way that you go to call someone on a phone that you want to talk to, and you pick the phone up and they're already on the other line and they have called you, but it hasn't rang, and you're going, oh, it's going to call you. Yes, it has happened to you. Of course it has. That is the spiritual internet, not the technological one that everyone is sold into, right? Again, don't get caught in the technological trap. That is all illusion to take you away from, well, here it is. If ye are gods, why do you need a teleporter? Just a thought.
Well,
you are
I
one.
think. Well, that's true. I wanted to make a comment when you said that you need two minds to, solidify a thought or whatever. But don't forget about the 100th monkey effect too.
Oh yes.
So everything seems to be a duality, does it not?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about the illusion of 3D. It's actually really only 2D. There's only real two dimensions here, duality, right? We haven't actually achieved 3, 4, and 5 and beyond.
Oh, it's going to be fun when we get there, isn't it?
Oh, I'm already there. So, yeah, I'm just trying to keep the frequency high. Come on, guys, it's a beautiful place. You should see what I see. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's one thing that many people have such a hard time with was what is fifth dimension? What is it going to be? And the best way I can explain it, and I'm not nearly as learned as I'd like to be. I'm still learning, as we all are, and we all will continue to be. I mean, evolution is a learning something new all the time thing. But fifth dimension is it's a state of being. It's a mindset. It's raising your frequency into higher thought patterns, leaving all this horrible stuff behind, and putting good things into your thoughts so you can be elevated. When you're really, really happy, when you're really ecstatically happy, you're very, very close to fifth dimension. So that's where we all want to get. We want to leave all this corruption and pain and suffering behind and get into the very, very ecstatic, happy spirit, Oh,
absolutely. It's that whole bliss thing, right?
Yes, yes.
And once you're in bliss, like, nothing touches you. Mm-hmm. And effectively, have you ever had those moments where you've just laughed so hard and you're thinking, oh, I really can't handle this anymore? That intensity of laughing, oh, it's joyous.
It certainly is. Well, honey, I'm going to mute out and let you visit with some more people. You've got a powerful message tonight. I can feel it.
Oh, yeah. Well, third time the charm, yeah? So here we go.
I love you, dear one. Thank you so much.
I'll leave your mic open, so jump in whenever you feel like it, okay?
Thank you, sweetheart. You bet.
No worries. All right, so let's get back to the nitty-gritty here. All right. What I need people to get, especially those that are caught in the religiocosis, mental psychosis program called religion, and everything, not just a few things, everything they teach has been taught to you backwards. Erase it. Thou shalt have no other gods before thee. Pay attention, lest you break a commandment. You got to understand what the commandments are saying. You are God. You best not put anything out in front of you. Worshipping, look at everyone. I mean, it's like there's one guy I watch, and he's out cleaning his truck. You might as well make love to it. I'm thinking, shouldn't you be spending that 2 hours that you're making love to your truck by making sure everything is shiny and pretty? Should you be spending that with your relatively young, I figure she might be 2 years old, daughter? I think that would be better time spent instead of worshiping a hunk of metal. Just saying, just a thought, Look at where we've got to. We worship our things instead of doing the important things. And that's what has happened to us. We've been caught up in this whole game of illusion, this whole Whore of Babylon commerce realm, that we'd sooner go out and take the literal lifeblood of our brothers and sisters on this planet and go out and buy worthless tickets that are going to end up in landfill, poisoning Gaia by taking, especially plastics, taking those poisons from her bowels. That's the lubrication. Imagine if someone was drilling holes into your kneecaps and into your ankles and into your elbows and everything else and draining out all the lubricant fluid that you need to move. How well are you going to grow? Well, that's what we're doing when we extract oil. We're extracting the lubricants for the plates. That's why you get all this grindy sort of effect, right? What's the other one? Oh, silver and gold. While we're at it, let's rip out the veins, the neurons of Gaia. Let's just make her brainless. And you wonder why consciousness is failing. Not anymore, because we're starting to get it back, right? This is how we change ourselves and we change our world accordingly. So let's stop doing that. Now, I wanted to touch on. I want to go hardcore in religion tonight because I really got to be in my bonnet about this one. Do not refer to God as the Lord. Do not refer to anything as the Lord. You don't know what you're saying when you say that. You are worshiping Baal, Moloch. Nasty, nasty dark principality. Part of the dark feminine, Lilith. Okay? When you do that, you are uttering curses. The power of words. You do have an idea. I will share it with you. People say, well, it's just a document, just what I've written there. Think of your reaction to, say, someone that you once loved or loved you, turns to you and says, I hate you. Remember the intensity of both of those emotions. They're both actually the same. Love and hate are identical, just separated by degrees. That's it. Where on the scale are you? But if you don't understand the power of words, maybe you should take those 3 words on each side of that equation and feel them and tell me that words do not have power. Tell me that they are not spells that can invoke and evoke emotions. Tell me they can't lift you to the highest levels of heaven and the lowest drudges of hell. Go ahead, tell me. And I will call you the most profuse fool or liar on the planet. Because the fact is, words are power. That's why they created the spells, the sigils, the letters. And when you're dealing with sigils, you're dealing with very powerful magic. I've said it before, I will say it again. We are not in Kansas anymore, Toto. We are in Oz. This is Harry Potterville of the highest order. You just forgot much of what you knew. And there's a few here that didn't. And they're a little bit more learned, and obviously not quite as learned as they need to be, because if they were, they wouldn't be living in this sort of control, hate, slavery kind of paradigm that they've created and kept in place. It's a very, very warped sense of being. But at the same time, it's a very powerful sense of being, because what they've done is they've taken part of creation. They are part of creation too. They're part of us. And they have said, well, what's more powerful than God? Well, one part of God that makes other parts of God think it's more powerful. That's where we're at. We're held in the illusion here. So let's kind of break out of this. Okay, everything you learned in Christian church, Muslim, Judaism, all the rest of it, has all been taught to you backwards. They've got you thinking in a complete mirror. They've got you seeing the shadow instead of the light, right? Where we need to be is in the 0 point, which is darkness. You see, they made us hate the dark. The dark's scary. That's where the boogeyman is. And of course, if you want to keep somebody away from something, all you have to do is put fear in it. So they make you afraid of the dark, when that is exactly the opposite. Only in the dark can you be the brightest. You see, because you are light. Doesn't make a whole lot of point to be worshipping a sun, does it? Because you are one. Funny that. Just saying, just trying to get things back, reversed in the mirror. And I said this a long time ago. The only way out of here is to reverse. Play. Re-ver-se. Re, son of God. That's actually the ancient way they spelled Ra, the sun god. Son, S-U-N, of God, sun god. Okay. So re, ver, from verily, meaning truth, and se, Latin for himself, herself, itself, which is the Holy Divine Trinity of you, the singularity. So yes, we have to reverse out of here. Using the light of God, you, in truth, as the Trinity, with no more duality. So back her up, people. Back out of the mirror. Get on the other side of the looking glass. Alice had a hell of a time with it. I'm just trying to make it a bit easier. I've lived on the other side of the looking glass most of my life. My awake life, yes. Okay, so getting back to the church aspect. What they have taught in the Christian church, and I'll pick on them tonight most of all, because I know it most of all. They taught you that somehow there was a bearded fella in the sky, that apparently a god needs a penis for some reason. That would be the obelisk, the phallus. By the way, royalty loves to live in phalluses. Oh, wait a minute, they make the H silent. Palaces. Right. Never thought of that, eh? Palace? There you go. And then you have prints, fingerprints, printing letter, prints. And we have princesses, the taxes of prince. Oh, the words are there. Princess? Are you kidding me? Oh, wait a minute. Do you want your due process in law? Your due for tax. Process for tax. Processed foods. Yeah, they're taxing your body indeed, aren't they? Cesspool. That's a tax pool. That's what the word cess means. And do you really want to have success? Do you really want to suck? Listen to the words, people. Get your phonics on. Be hooked on phonics. Start listening, because what they did in school was they took us away from the actual sounds, and they turned them into visual sigils and spells. And they made damn sure you could write the letters properly, shape their sigils so well, and also lose the idea of sound. That was done through the use of homonyms and synonyms. When you have a word like, well, I've already used the word right. There's 4 ways you can spell that. One of them is a family name. There's probably other ways, but I just stick with the 4 that I know. R-I-T-E, right, which is a rite or a ritual. R-I-G-H-T, which is as in your right hand, or to be correct. W-R-I-T-E, which is to physically put ritualized letters on paper to write your writing. And, of course, Wright, the family name, W-R-I-G-H-T. Okay? So when you say the word right, what is your intention? And were you actually aware of it? I'm betting that you were scratching your head right now. I'm going, I never thought of that. Yeah, neither did I. And then I started wondering how these magi straits, the word wizards, were getting away with the assumptions and presumptions the way they were. It had to be in the words, had to be there. And, of course, being a songwriter most of my life, I kind of learned how to write and read between the lines. And as a net result, I kind of got a few clues. So I'm just sharing those. Excuse me. Anyway, yeah, lose the whole religion thing with this Father, Son, Holy Ghost. It's a bunch of nonsense. It's a corrupted version of what the truth really is. The Trinity is the Mother, Father, Child. Okay? And we are the child. Humanity is the child. All right? What we need to do is get Mom and Dad back together within us. Our divine masculine and our divine feminine, get them back into balance. If you think you are male, then you are trapped. If you think you are female, you are trapped. If you know you are both, now you have the key, the life. That's key, C-H-I. The Greek letter X. X marks the spot. Oh, indeed it does. I mentioned this before. I'm not even sure what I've talked about today, but I'm just kind of regurgitating a lot of stuff here. Every time you go to sign something, especially a bank, what do they normally do on everywhere you need to sign? Or at the law office, or wherever? They always put a nice big red X. What that means is this. It means life. Okay? Literally. It also means, in their legal sense, no consideration. It means you stand there without consideration, they can do what they want with that signature, and they will hypothecate the living shit out of it. Hypothecation, to reuse the name, look it up under UCC 3-419, and what an accommodating party is. You are hosting parties that you're not even aware of. You are paying for the party. So you are the expense. If you're the accommodating party at your home and you have guests coming over, is it not you that provides to be the good host or hostess? Of course. And that's what this is to these guys. It's a big party, and you're paying for it. So I could get into the birth certificate a little bit, but I really want to get this point drilled home, guys. Stop with the God thing, all right? You're worshiping outside of yourself. You've got to get in to get out. You've got to be the 0 point. You've got to figure this out. You've got to figure this out. And I'm going to keep ramping this until that twinkling of an eye occurs. It will. I know it will. People are awakening in droves now. We are the dominant frequency, and every day more and more that awaken only means that even more and more are going to awaken tomorrow. I gave the example earlier, Tony. I think I did it in both shows, so I haven't done it in this one yet. That's what I mean. I don't want to repeat myself on this one. But here it is. The law of dominant frequency. You can prove this for yourself. You'll have to go out and buy, maybe 100 clocks to do this, just to really get the point across. But if you were to take 100 clocks, all ticking at different, rates and whatever, and you put them all in the same room, so they're all sonically within range of each other, what you're going to actually find out after a couple of hours, might take a little bit longer, but typically a couple of hours is usually enough, that you'll hear all this all over the grid. You'll be ticking and talking everywhere. It'll be a crescendo. But you come back a couple of hours later, what you're going to find is everything is going tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock in unison. And that's because two of those clocks were very close to being in unison, and they found each other's resonance. They found their masculine feminine together, okay? So they started ticking together. Then all of a sudden, there was one that was fairly close to both of those before. It wasn't quite enough to mate up yet, but all of a sudden senses that dominant frequency and tick-tock, tick. Now you've got 3 clocks. Then it starts going exponential, right? It only takes the idea between 2 individuals to plant the seed. After that, that's the singularity. That's the duality becoming the singularity, the 2 minds meeting to become the third neutral one. That is the seed, right? That's why when you put a seed in the ground, it will grow. It doesn't need anything else but ground, water, light, and away you go. Soil, right? Everything is contained within the seed. And when you bring these ideas together, two individuals that have the same idea, you mate them together, you have created a seed. Now that seed gets planted. What happens once that tree grows? And in this case, it grows very quickly. It starts to bear fruit. What's contained in all the fruit? More seeds. Right? So that's what happens is this singularity starts to go exponential. You see, it's a singular intention to exponential creation. And it's done in a very beautiful uniform format once we start abiding by the natural laws. And that's what you're starting to witness now. Natural law has taken over. The awakening is here. It will not be stopped. All we have to do is be the dominant clock. And I know there's a few of you out there, more than a few, that are tick-tocking with me. And what's happening there now is others are starting to come to the fold because they're very close to that resonance. And it'll sound like a tick-tick-tock-tock, tick-tick-tock-tock. Now what's happening is those ticks are starting to come together. So we are the clocks. We are the chronos. And isn't it funny that Saturn is at its closest point to Earth today? And very shortly, it will start moving away. The power of time, chronos, Saturn, is abating. We've hit the top of the hill here. Now we get to roll with this beautiful built-up energy, and it will cascade like a tsunami of truth across this universe. Flap your wings, dear butterfly. We're going home. Right, so that pretty much covers, for me, the religion thing. Stop with whatever the teachers were saying.
I want to interject here, since you've got to close to a stopping point. I feel really badly that I didn't say hi to Tony. Tony, hi, honey. How are you today?
Not too bad at all, Carol. You?
I'm fine, sweetheart. I keep forgetting that someone has a co-host. I have a sidekick, but he has certain jobs on the call, but you are a co-host, so welcome, and we're so anxious to hear from you too, dear one. Thank you so much, Kate, for letting me do that.
Oh, no problem. Tony's used to me, Can't shut the bitch up. That's all.
No, that was my fault. That wasn't you. That was my fault.
Well, no. Actually, I make it very easy for people to forget about Tony because I talk so much. Yes, Tony? It's okay, Tony. You can agree with me because you know I'm right.
No, I was chasing the blooming mute button around. Every time I hover over the space, it shifts to the left again, and I've hit it. I keep missing it.
Ain't we having fun?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Carol, want to try and get your mate, East Coast back on again?
I don't know if he's going to come on. He's got some other directions I think he might be going, but I'd be happy to put you guys in touch with him and you can find out. I'll give Kate his number.
I've already got it, so I'll pass it along to Tony. I don't know if there's any other way to get a hold of him because we're kind of lacking in that telephone thing. I'm lucky, at least I have something I can call North America with for 300 minutes a month. So.
Oh, that's not very much, is it? Okay.
Well, no, that's why I don't like talking on it very much. It's there. I do use it. I hate the idea of, at the end of the month, 260 minutes left on it. But it's there for a reason. If people need to get a hold of me, that's what it's there for.
If you do you get billed for the minutes if I call you? If I'm
No, it's 30.
If you originate the call, then you get billed the minutes.
Well, no, it's gonna the minutes get ticked off regardless. Either way.
That's not good.
Because the thing is, it's North America, Canada and the U.S., long distance all included. I get 300 minutes. Once I get past 300 minutes, I can't top it up in that month cycle, so then it gets expensive.
Yeah.
25 cents a minute kind of thing. But
yeah, we'll get that worked out somehow.
I'm not worried about it. I have exactly what I need, and I don't go past the minutes. When I know I'm close, I can check online if I want to. If I know I'm close and people are calling, I can pretty much gauge it and just cut the call where I need to, so I don't run into the open.
Good.
But
okay.
no, it's all good. I've had lots of practice at being frugal. Trust me.
Well, I'm going to mute out and let you guys get on with this beautiful call. I know that I could just feel your spirit today, and I just know there's stuff just itching to get out.
Oozing to get out, yes.
Yes,
absolutely.
okay.
Primordial goo, baby. Here we go. Yeah, with the phones. No, I have it there for a reason, and anyone that needs to use it, it's there. Just all I ever say is be mindful. And like I said, I've gotten lots of good practice at being frugal, just Tony, because, well, we've had everything stripped from us because of our big mouths and the fact that we stood. Oh, well, bring it on, Dark Principality. You lose. The good guys always win. Don't you know that? We always win. Wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to destroy creation, now, would it? So where's the fear now, guys? Really? You win. It was predetermined to be that. Yeah, there's free will choice in what we do, but bottom line is this. Creator, which is us, will never destroy itself. That would be silliness. It's just not possible. Sorry. Can't be done. Anyway, let's talk about money. Let's get into money, seeing as we're talking about frugality. What is money? All right, well, let's go to the birth bond. Because everyone that has any inkling of an idea in this movement at all will know that the birth bonds are where all the money's created. They take a bond at birth based on the output of your spirit, your divine feminine register, throughout a lifetime, and they attach a value to it. If you want to see a basic breakdown, I have the application form, which is actually a profiling document to profile the mother and or father, and they get into that where they're grading the bond. You see, don't think that there isn't a caste system here. I went through that document a couple of times on the air. Effectively, they will ask you in it. It's one of the most disgusting documents you'll ever read, because what it does is, in order to grade a document, let's say you were in a hospital in the not quite good end of Bronx, as we'll call it. Just for an example, this is not to be derogatory. There's lots of areas around this planet that have people that are not in as well a position as others, and that's the system's fault. Okay, it's not theirs. We do have a responsibility to climb back out of it, but in all fairness to the people, all the people, we've been hammered with some seriously shitty programs, and when you're coming out of birth, you're not coming here with a whole lot of ammo. So it's a very one-sided fight until you wake up. Then, of course, once you wake up, it's game over for them. That's how high the stakes are, these dark energies. But here it is in a nutshell. What they'll do, they do this literally. It's in the document. They will ask you if you are white, Hispanic, black, whatever. They will ask you, are there any siblings? Do they have the same father? Is this, that, and the other? And what they're doing with this document is they're grading the child. So let's say it was the third child of a mother that's had two fathers, that is on welfare, that is something other than the supposed white nonsense. By the way, guys, I'm blonde hair, blue eyed, about as white as they come, and I'm going to take down this white man bullshit like no other. It takes a dragon to kill a dragon, and I was born in the year thereof. So we're all in this together. I know what color your blood is, and that's all I care about. Same as mine. All right, so that's why we got to get rid of this illusion. What they do then is, let's give it a comparison. Let's just make it for what it is. We'll contrast it. Now, let's say you have that situation in a lower income area, and then of course you go over to a rich area around Harvard, with a rich family bloodline. Of course, when that bond's created, it's worth slightly more than the one that's created in the lower income area. So start off the lower income one at say $250,000 or $500,000, and the one in the rich area, they might start off at worth 20 million, 30 million, right? This is how they grade the bonds. This is why anyone that's playing in the bonds game is a fool. Been there, done that, got through it, saw the illusion, moved on. Okay? Get past this. You need to get past this. Because it's all a crock of shit. It's a caste system that is grading you, humanity, as far as somebody else judging it and what you're worth and what they can suck out of you for a lifetime. Okay. The bonds are created at birth. Let's just say we'll stick it at $1 million for a typical average individual, middle class kid. Okay? Create the bond at $1 million. Fictitious bullshit nonsense. But it goes into the market. You can check the QSIP numbers. Mark Hollywood did a beautiful call, and he outlined it very clearly as far as the QSIP number. He tracked it back to Fidelity Inc. in New York to a bank. So don't tell me there isn't money there. I've done this stuff too. So, this is old news, but I need to bring it into a more present time. Now, if they create the money off the bond, that's what they're printing the money with. And hypothecation, when you sign your name, they will, hypothecate the living crap out of it. And that's why you have ridiculous amounts of fiat in the in the hundreds, if not thousands of trillions of dollars. Seriously, think about it. If you had $10 trillion, you could probably buy everything on the planet, lock, stock, and barrel. So what? The rest of it's all garbage. It's all garbage anyway. I'm just trying to give you some realities here. So what happens then is, if the money is created off the bond, and that is based on the spiritual essence and the creation of the individual for a lifetime, and we're using that money, we're actually skinning our brothers and sisters. And I'll give you a couple of examples of skins, okay? Never mind the papal bulls that are written on the skins of sacrificed children and written with their blood for their dark spells. No. That's a fact, by the way. You can research that. What we're talking about is we are cannibalizing each other. You see, because all that fiat currency is based on the life of another. So the more money you chase after means the more cannibalistic you are, the more apt you are to feed on your fellow humanity. Because your intent was not there to not do that. So they trick you into it. All right? Ever hear of golf, the skins game? Why do they call it the skins game? I often wondered that. And then, of course, I thought of the other saying, hey, listen, hey, buddy, can you skin me with $10? Give me some skin, right? There it is. And it literally is. The money, paper, or it's plastic now, whatever, is a representation of the skin, the life force of your brothers and sisters. Now, when you go out to somewhere like Walmart and buy these silly little trinkets that you think you absolutely need to have, only to find out that they're absolute junk, and you either take them back, or typically what happens is, well, it was only $5, you end up throwing it out. So what you've done, is say it was $5, what you've done is you said that $5 piece of flesh, pound of flesh nearest the heart, Shylock, is worthless, because you throw it in the garbage, it ends up poisoning the planet in a landfill somewhere. That's what you think of your fellow man. That's why the commerce that we deal with is the whore of Babylon. We are feeding literally and figuratively, metaphorically, allegorically on each other. I think it is best to stop. And if people are wondering why I have such an aversion to money, that's why, because I know what it is. And the only money, that's why you won't, I was in a very desperate, it's never beyond desperate, but last summer, And you could hear it in my shows. You could hear it in my voice. I didn't know where I was going to be. I was in a tent and the rest of it, and I'm trying to get shows done and all the rest of it. And I tell you, that for me, that was probably one of the lowest points that I'd reached. But that's one of the reasons why I even have a hard time when people ask me, well, where can I send you something? And okay, well, you can, if you want to help, you can send it here. But I want to make sure the intention is right. I don't do this for money. I do it for quite the opposite. And I am grateful for that which people send, because I'll tell you, absolute necessity, you guys, the listeners, helped me get mobile again. So I actually have mobility and somewhere to sleep if I have to. Thank you. Those are necessities. For me, those are necessities. Being able to actually be assured of having something indoors, even though I have to go out and drive in the woods, at least I've got something that I can lock the doors and sleep safely, regardless of what's out in the woods, So, mobile home, if you will. So this is why I have such an aversion to it, and I have been asked by a few people. I will post something when I remember to. Anyway, we do have a caller here, 574. I'm going to bring them in. I want to make sure this works. You're proving my point tonight. Area code 574. How are you?
Hey, good, Kate. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
This is David Frank here.
Yep, kind of recognize the voice.
The radio voice and the radio face.
You got it. Absolutely, eh?
Well, I just thought I'd call in and bother you a little bit tonight. I really enjoyed being on the program with you last night.
Great to have you back. Everyone's welcome here. You know that.
Learned a lot, and you got a lot of good information. I tell you, it's excellent. And but I was thinking about your topic of money, and I'm not into money either. I mean, money to me is just a number, and to me the most important thing about money is just being able to sleep at night, and whatever tomorrow brings. But I think money is just energy, and all we do is assign a number to it, and we trade energy back and forth, whether it be physical or mental, and that's what we got trapped into that, the Federal Reserve scam with. We needed their paper. We needed to pay them interest on their worthless pieces of paper so that we could trade energy back and forth, and they were getting a piece of the action every time we traded.
Actually, David, they're getting all the action. That's the point I'm trying to make here. This is what registering is all about. This is to rule the divine creative feminine essence, life itself. All that money that you're speaking of is 100%, well, not now because I'm not part of it. I know this. This is not a belief anymore. I know this, so I am absolutely certain in this, that I do not flow any energy towards that name that was sold to the crown. I render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. So make no mistake about this, anyone. The money that you can diverge any way you want. I will tell you the fact of it. 100% of the money on this planet is owned by the Rothschilds. It's their idea. It's their concept. And when they own the money, it's not the money that they own. Everyone's thinking of it, there's that idol outside of thyself again. They own you and our willingness to trade in it. Here, in the ideal situation, Dave, I know you'll get this. The ideal situation, everyone will get this. The ideal situation is if we are serving each other. What are we worried about?
That's exactly right. And my goal in pushing the concept that we're pushing as far as having people's voices heard is I believe that people have great ideas out there to bring our cost of living down around us so that it costs us virtually nothing to live. We just provide a good or a service for our fellow man, and all of a sudden we will have the things that we need.
When the intent changes, agreed.
Yeah, well, you're giving instead of being taken from. We have been taken from for so long and so hard that we are now conditioned, and now we want to take from other people before they take from us.
Well, that's the American dream, service to self.
Right.
Climbing the corporate ladder. Competition. There is the highest form of cannibalism and predatorship that you will ever find. It's called competition.
Well, through advertising.
Yeah, I was just going to say...
I'm sorry, go ahead. I hate...
I just want to finish the concept and you can go on there. if we're competing, we're not co-creating. So we need to shift out of the competing and trying to be better than the next one. Every one of us has a gift. Every one of us. And if you follow that gift, if you follow that divine purpose that you have to dance your dance, the universe will take care of you anyway. You have nothing to worry about. See, what we've done here, Dave, is we've lost faith in each other. We've lost the trust in each other. Tammy does a beautiful job of explaining the trust that we have lost, that we literally put it into paper instead of my word is my bond. Sorry, and that's more true than people realize. When you give your word and you break it, you've broken a divine law. Not just, well, I'm full of shit. No. It's a bit more serious than that. Anyway, sorry, carry on with your thought.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Trust is what we've lost, and that's what we've got to get back. And that's the only way we're going to have a relationship with one another is when we start trusting each other again. I think you look at society today, they don't even look at each other because everybody's afraid of one another. And it's because we don't trust one another. And it's I really do believe it's because we've been taken from for such a huge rate and such a long time now that we're sort of turning into paranoid schizophrenics, where we're afraid somebody's going to take our shit, so we better get theirs before they get ours. And
we better buy a lot of guns and everything to protect ourselves from our neighbors. And look what they've done to us. They've got us divided and conquered, fearing our neighbors. And even more so, they've got us divided and conquered by hiring jarheads in the police forces. And they're turning the people and the police against each other. And they're the ones, dark principalities are sitting back going, look at them go. Oh, the children are so emotional, they've lost control of the divine feminine because we own it.
Right. It's sort of like waterboarding us.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is where we need to take it upon ourselves, individually, the responsibility of each other. If you saw someone, here it is in a nutshell, instead of going and spending $8 on a latte, fucking whatever at Starbucks, why don't you take that $8 and go and buy a nice couple of sandwiches and see someone that's homeless on the street and give them something decent to eat. Make sure it's organic at least. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And stop.
Sure.
This
Pass it on.
Yeah,
Pass
commercialism is so poisonous. It is destroying you. But you want your treats. You want this. You want that. You want the other. You can't live without your Doritos. Oh, please. And I know I'm talking to the preaching at the choir here with the listeners that are tuned into this show. Because I'll tell you this right now. The people that tune in here are tuned in. All I'm trying to do is convey the ideas to clarify them for those of us that are awake. And I'm telling you right now, the ones that are in this call right now, you are wide awake because you are here. I made a deal with Universe, Creator, 3 years ago. Only send those to me that will resonate and understand what it is I am saying. So, well done. Well done. You win. Look at that. You resonant clock you. Ticking, talking all the way along. All I'm doing is taking that which you already know, trying to verbalize it where it makes sense, to give you a picture that you might be able to share visually, because this is a mental universe, and I don't care about the physical at all. We control the physical once we get up there, right? So here, let's take control of this again, shall we? With the resonation that you guys are experiencing, as I am with you, we're in this together. What we're doing is we're co-creating now. And because we get the ideas together, because we understand each other, and we're not anything here, we're just remembering, or better yet, dismembering.
Okay. Question is it me? Okay, Kate just dropped off. Okay, so... Okay, anybody else in the call still? Guess that's online.
Yes, Tony, we're all here, I think.
Right, hi Carol. Yeah, looks like something happened there to knock Kate off the air. But yeah, as you were saying, basically we're all remembering what it is that we're here for, and it's one hell of a trip. But yeah, that's what it's about. Have you got any comments on that one, Carol?
Well, all I can say, honey, is that most of the people on my conference call, the people that visit us and resonate with what our message is, we've all lost our homes. We've all been homeless at one time or another. I mean, we've had it all taken away from us, so that and I think I think that's an act of love toward us to help us know what priorities are. Once you go through this and you lose everything that you think is near and dear to you, you find out that if you get yourself in the right mental place, the universe does take care of you. You may not have all the goodies that you used to have, and maybe you miss some of them terribly, but you start to get priorities in the right place. In other words, you start thinking more about other people that have had experiences like you or that are going through them. You know, Spirit came to me years ago, back in 85, 86, and I was so mad at God. Oh my goodness, I was mad at God. and I hadn't been through the worst of it yet. You know? But I heard his voice, or her voice, whatever you'd like to say, however it feels good to you. But I heard God.
Home.
Okay, I'll shut up.
No, finish your thought.
Okay, she told me that if I didn't go through these horrible things, I wouldn't be able to help those that come later. And I exhaled and I just let my shoulders down. I quit the fight, and it's been a real challenging life. I must say, I've been through hell, and everybody else has too that's wakening up. And it seems to be a foregone thought that if you're going to waken up, you're going to waken up big time. You're going to learn what priorities are in life, what's really important. Back to you, Tony and Kate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Tony, I got a caller in from area code 905. I know that area because it's not far from me, so I'm going to bring that one in as well as Dave. He got bumped as well, so we'll bring Dave back in. But area code 905, who we got?
Hello, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Do you know who I am?
What's that?
It's Billy here.
Yeah, okay. What are you doing calling from a 905 area code? Oh, no, I see what it is. Never mind, it's 19053. Got it. It looks like 905 here. 1905, that's actually an area code not far from me. Hey, how you doing, Billy?
Yeah, not bad. How's yourself? You all right?
Good to have you on, my friend.
Yeah, good to be here. I was basically just wondering if you've ever heard of a guy, actually heard of him, Santos was on a show with him, called Genesis Sunfire.
Name sounds familiar, yes.
He's a breatharian, he calls himself. Well, it's one of the label that people put on him.
I got it, okay. I know who you're talking about now, okay.
Yeah, he basically doesn't eat, you know. He's been doing this for 15 years, kind of purging himself. He's on fruit for 10 years and then liquids for 5, and now he basically survives on his own saliva and does salt purges. And basically he says he's like a divine being because he's purged all the toxins out of him. He believes that food is a toxin. And basically, when I heard that, I was lying in bed and I was thinking about, you know, the Garden of Eden and Eve getting tempted with the apple and the fall of man. And I kind of resonated a bit, and I just wondered, you know, he says, you know, to stop to bring the system down and step out of the matrix, if all of us were like self-generating, you know, energy producers like the sun, basically, and our body provides everything we need for us, then we wouldn't consume anything. So the whole system would collapse at that point. I know that's a long...
No, you're talking about consuming, absolutely. This is where instead of being consumers, look what they tell you what you are. You're a consumer. No, you're a creator. What they've turned you into the mirror itself, right? And here we are consuming, and look around. I mean, look at the poisonous obesity that we're dealing with. You know, it's not because people are eating too much. It's because their bodies can't get rid of the crap. It's designed that way. That's why they call it processed foods. For tax, they're taxing your body, and they're taxing you to death, and they're hoping that you're going to get sick so they can get you on pharmacological poisons to mask the symptoms and, in the process, kill you, and make a lot of money doing it. It's all about, you know, how many players have you heard saying, "Hey, listen, it's just nothing personal. It's just business." I said, "I'm sorry, you're killing people. It's very personal."
Yeah. Well, he basically says, you know, his ideal kind of perception is that we shouldn't die ever, because, like you should say, we are gods. So basically, he's trying to get everlasting life by doing this. And Bill Hicks actually done a bit about that. Childbirth isn't natural. We should all be kind of living in a higher plane and living forever. And to me, what he's trying to do, and the way he's going, I don't know. I listened to a lot of interviews with him, and it sounds as though he's pretty switched on. I just wondered if you had any viewpoint about us eating. Is that a natural thing for humanity, or should we be aiming towards that kind of direction?
Well, again, what is the intention? For me, meat sticks, bodies are vehicles. Okay, it's like I don't want to become my car. Savvy? Mm-hmm. So for me, that is a mirror image. I mean, there's good and evil in everything. So I'm definitely gonna dwell on that. But my initial reaction to it is this. Imagine driving the same car for eternity. How's that work for you?
Yeah.
It doesn't sit with me, especially with me. Okay, so that's part of my clue as well, right? Because I am not complete physically. All right.
Yeah.
Would it not make more sense to get? I don't see anything divine about an eternal meat stick. Sorry, I see something very entrapping in an eternal meat stick. Again, here's, and I'll tell you why people have this notion is they're afraid of death. So they don't know who they are. So if someone is wanting to live forever in this body, means they fear death. Death is an illusion. It is merely a transformation.
Yeah, but if these archons, whatever, these entities are supposed to be kind of parasitical in us, and they're living at a lower vibration and bringing us down. And he's kind of getting rid of the toxins, and his body's becoming lighter and lighter. It's like a light body, So
again, then he's not going to be physical. You see, this is the thing. Now that's where we can go, in terms of once you master the meat stick. But again, you can go through any means. I mean, truly, for me, the way out of here is meditation. Finding the zero point, the stillness within self, the God within, because we are all God. So I'm not going to spend that much time focused on I'm definitely going to take care of it because it is my vessel, and I'm not going to just go out and totally abuse it. I mean, hey, we all do to a certain extent. The idea here is, the intent now is to minimize that, to get into a better clarity, because when we're dealing with DNA, we're dealing with energy, and it's a programmed energy. And our DNA, of course, about 94-95% of it has been shut down. Figuratively, a lot of it has been destroyed by our actions and how we live. It can be regained, but it's going to take some effort. Best turn around now, turn that train around now before you wreck it any further. Get back down the track. So I get what you're saying, Billy, with regards to this guy. If his intent is to maintain a physical meat stick for eternity, I would call that a trap, and I would actually put that in the class of transhumanism. You might as well be a cyborg.
I don't think that's his actual intent. His intent is to kind of get as pure and light as possible, And,
I agree. What I'm trying to do is give the other side of the coin here, Billy. It's not passing judgment on anyone or anything. I'm trying to give the other side of the coin. Absolutely, I can see where the individual. It'd be the same with me. I want to get as pure as I can. It's why I'm a vegetarian. It's why I do a lot of things that I do. I still have one vice. I smoke. Why? Because, well, I like to. I allowed myself one vice in my life, and that's it. And I do minimize that as well. Now, sorry, it's been stressful. I got better things to worry about than that. Trust me. Sheer survival is kind of a priority with me. But I get what you're saying, Billy. And yeah, if the intent is to purify, to get to that divine essence or ascend, right? Yeah. That's why I said this morning. I have a problem with people say, well, what about the ascension? I said, no, I don't shun myself. Huh? Well, ascends, which is God ascends, goddess, and goddesses, it's God essence. So now we're dealing ascend, shun. Look how the word's spelled. Something Carol said I want to bring up as well, to bring it back around again. She had mentioned he, she, or she, he in terms of creator. I think it works the best because you have the I of self, the I with the dot, the sun above, and T, the note of love. You know, so IT, it, right? So you are God of love. So that works for me. That's why when people say, you know, they're never quite sure based on the voice what they, what do I call you? Just call me anything you want. Just don't call me late for supper or too early in the morning. Other than that, I'm good. You can call me it. It's a preference. You know, people think it's a derogatory. No, it's not at all. See, there's far, far too many assumptions made on far, far too many words. So I'm trying to clarify that to take the charge out of it. It's like you've heard me go off on potty rants, yes?
Occasionally.
Yeah, I'm known for it. And I'm telling you, the reason being is this. I don't have any what I call charge on language because I know what I'm saying is equal and opposite. And I think it's a pretty good truth that if a system says, you know, plus, you can bet your bottom dollar, hopefully it's not skin off a neighbor, that it's minus, right? That it is the opposite. A couple of the harshest words perceived harshest words you will ever hear are actually two sounds that are out of ancient Tibetan that mean love. And what they've done is we are literally afraid to say that, and love has become the curse. So I don't really have a particular charge on anything within the language. The language or the tongue pledge doesn't control me anymore. I will say whatever it is I need to say, and I know what I'm saying. It's not my responsibility to understand it, because I already have taken that responsibility. It's for others to grow up, pull up their socks, and go, it's just a word. The only emotion I'm attaching to it is that which I want to attach to it. So how about we change that a little? You know, when you understand that every word means it's equal and opposite, you'll be a whole lot better off. Honest.
Can I ask what are those two words?
Oh, well, I'm not going to say them on the air, because I know it will offend people. One begins with F, and I say that quite regularly, and the other one begins with C. Actually, I do use the F-bomb quite regularly. But the other one, if you take the O-R-Y out of country, you'll understand the word that I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I do comedy.
I wrote a song about that, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of the words and what they mean, but basically I do comedy sometimes, and when I do that, I try and be as real as I can, like I would talk in my ordinary everyday language and express myself without any, fear, as you say, of what other people think, and the political correctness has been imposed on these certain things you're not supposed to say. And basically audiences can't handle that in a lot of respects. Well, because
they're not grown up yet. Okay, here, let's break one word down for you. C-U-N-T. Let me tell you what that word means, okay? Let me tell you what it really means. And, of course, where it's directed at in terms of the human physiology will make total sense. C, the note of love, okay? C is the open O of creation. It is the note that allows all things in and all things out. It is the void. Sound familiar? U, which is... it can be yourself, you, the individual, making yourself mine, which is the N. You put an N is a word that it attaches possessiveness to the letters within it. I'll give you an example of this. This one's not an easy one to explain. It basically, N means mine. I'm making it mine. I own it. All right. So it's like they use the N as a conjunctive. They would put it between vowels. They would always attach it. In the old days, they would attach it to the word that they were trying to describe. So it would be like this. I look up and I see an eagle flying in the sky. In its nest, there is a neg. What happened over time was that N got moved from the word that it was attached to make it mine, and it was moved over to the A, so it became an eagle, an egg, and opening, and whatever. Okay, it was a way to create ownership and joinder of the letters. Okay, so when you see N in a word, it means whatever letters it's attached to means it's yours. And there we have U attached to the last letter of the word T, which is love. So you are the open node of love, the open orifice of creation, allowing all things in and out, making yourself, owning yourself with love. Go ahead now, tell me why that word is bad. Would you?
Because
You see what I'm saying?
Big one.
yeah.
You know, but everyone walks around, I can't say that. I can say whatever the fuck I want. Because I know what I'm saying. You know, I took the time. You know, that's what I even said to my kids, you know. When you take the time to understand the language, I mean really understand the language and take it and make it your own, and you really get a good handle on literature and whatever, right? Then you can abuse it at will because you understand what it is. And don't do it until you can. And most people are out there willy-nilly throwing these words around as curses instead of understanding what they really mean. I know what they mean. I don't have any negative charge on them. They're words. And here's the thing about being offended, people. The only one that can be offended is the one that allows themselves to be offended. I can't be offended because I don't allow it. That's childish. You know, go ahead. Like I said, call me whatever you want. I've been called a lot of things, Billy, you know, over my lifetime. And quite frankly, I'm not going to get offended. There are things that people will say to me that I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm not really liking that because I don't like the energy attached to it. So it's the energy that I'm shunning. I'm not being offended by it. It's like this. If you stick your hand in the fire constantly and you find out that it hurts, you eventually do what? You stop doing it. You move along. Right? So it's, again, when we direct energy at people, using words, because words are the spell of spells, boys and girls, you carry a lot more power and weight than you realize. So be mindful. That which you put out is spirit breath. That's the Greek letter rho. You'll see it in the Vatican symbol of chi rho. That's the X and the P. Rho is Greek, the Greek letter, and it's actually pronounced ro, just like the Scots do it. Isn't that neat how the Scottish remembered how to actually use the R letter? It's a fact. That's the proper pronunciation of R. It should have a roll to it because it means literally spirit breath of creation. Careful what you say. There's a lot of power in what you say. When you change your mind, you do change the universe. That's why I don't stare at all the nonsense dramas going on. Why would I feed it energy? I have my own creation I'm working on. Get out of my universe, I build it. Sorry guys, the world currently right now is under renovation. Caution, there will be truths falling from the heavens, so make sure they hit you in the head. So there you go. Well, how are things in Turkey, by the way?
It's starting to get hot.
Oh yeah, I guess it would be, yeah.
Yeah. So apart from that, struggling on, doing my best.
How are things with the website and whatnot?
Well, basically, I've been interviewing a few famous people for another website, but I'm starting to work back on my website these days. I tried to do a comedy gig tonight, but I didn't advertise it very well, so nobody turned up, but we're going to be doing that again, try and do that pretty regular.
Awesome. Maybe you might want to share with the good people who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, my name's Billy Watson. I've been living in Turkey for 6 years, and I used to perform comedy in Scotland, just on amateur level. I've come here and there's no comedy club, so every year I end up going back to the Edinburgh Festival and trying to do an hour comedy show for 3 weeks every day. It's a bit of a challenge, so in the meantime I've been working on my website, and I've got a website to promote the local area. It's a personal blog as well. That's antalialiving.com. My comedy website's billywatson.tv, and I do some poetry as well, and I've got lots of stuff on my hard drive that I'm going to start chucking out. At the Edinburgh Festival last year I was doing a show called Sex, Drugs and Marriage. It's about my life story with my wife. She was in and out of mental hospitals, and then she got cancer. It was a pretty depressing story. I don't know why I tried to make a comedy show out of it, but
well, that's actually good. You're taking a negative and bringing it forth with a positive energy. That makes total sense to me.
Well, my ex-wife, she was totally comfortable with what I was saying, you know, and I was trying to make, we'll come to terms with that, you know, but I was saying this to audiences, right? And for instance, at one point she got cancer, and this is part of the story. Just the audience is all, I was going to like when you said the C word, you know, that's the new C word, cancer apparently. And people just don't like that kind of truth and joking about that kind of stuff. It's I've got personal people that's died with cancer, and I'm like, yeah, I've been through it, you know, and I'm going to make a joke about it. But a lot of people can't see where you're coming from, and it's a bit of a challenge to convey that you're not a psychopath.
Well, yeah, again, here's Billy, the comedian, working at university level, talking to a bunch of kindergarten people that are still offended when someone looks at them the wrong way. So, yeah. You know, again, it's, I mean, you, everyone listening, myself, we all have to come to terms with the fact that most of the people we are going to interact with on a day-to-day basis are fast asleep, and they do not want to be, you know, shaken out of their lazy boy with their Doritos and their aspartame-laden poison diet Coke. No, they prefer having the remote control in their hand and flipping through the programs so that they make sure that they're just as dumb tomorrow as they are today. And that's what you're dealing with. And what I brought up earlier as well in one of the shows, and I've brought this up many times, it is not necessary for you, the individual, to go out and think that you have to take it upon yourself to be Jesus Christ superstar and awaken the planet. That's not your job. Your job is to awaken self. You see, because once you awaken within the self and the light starts to burn within you, you get noticed. Oh, trust me, you get noticed. And people know the truth inherently. We know all. There's nothing new under the sun. We know everything. We are of Creator. We have chosen to sip from the cup of forgetfulness in order to have this experience throughout a very boring infinity otherwise. So what we need to do is come to terms with that. Now, where was I wanting to go here? Yeah, you know, this is a problem. When I do this, like, see, people can look at me and say, well, aren't you doing that? I says, well, no, I'm just talking. If you tuned in, that was your choice. I could be talking to dead air for all I know. I know I'm not. I know I'm talking to tens of thousands, but people are here because they chose to be, not because I said, show up. I'll send out the notices. You can make the choice of show up or not. So it's
that's basically what I do on stage. It's like, I don't go around preaching this stuff, but if I'm on stage, then basically it's my place to speak my mind, you know? Like,
well, absolutely. That's a perfect place to do it.
So that's where you have to basically get in touch with your true self, because that's what I think it's all about, really, you know?
Yeah, well...
You see me, I'm sure you told me your potty mouth, but during the festival I was having a few rants myself, you know? And a lot of that was coming out of frustration of people not waking up, and maybe a little bit of that Messiah complex. You have to...
Well, no, Billy, we're just tired of getting beaten up, okay? Because everyone else is asleep, and that's where the frustration comes in. So let's put it where it needs to be. It's not because we're frustrated with other people. It's because we're frustrated with the situation. Knowing once one is awake, it's like, oh shit. And then other people not getting it, and they're the ones actually harming you because they don't get it. That's where the frustration comes in. So mirror that one as well, and you feel a whole lot better about it. And you're right. You get it. Give me an example here. You've done a couple of nights back to back. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Now, the message you gave the one night, were there any people that came back the second night?
No.
Okay. Well, you had. Okay. Now, was it just as busy the second night as it was the first? What we need to do, this is how we start gauging things, is we start looking for those people that are coming back. I'll give you a great example here. I'm going to do a shout out for, there are many people, but I will say I'm going to point one individual out because they're always with the quote, I'm there. Thank you, Otis. You see, Otis, my main man, is out there, and he gets it. And not only that, he has made the free will decision, not choice, decision, to be a part of this. I didn't drag Otis here kicking and screaming. The first time he probably showed up and said, well, this is kind of interesting and new, maybe a little different. I'll tune in the second time or the third time. And eventually, what happens with people like Otis and you and everybody else is there's a resonance awakening within you. And it's got nothing and everything to do with me. You see, the awakening is your own. I am merely a resonance of something you already know. I'm not teaching shit here. I'm just reminding you that of which you forgot. in which I had forgotten it as well. And isn't it cool when we have these beautiful, oh my God moments, and we see the same thing identically. That truth is now revealed, and it can never be put back. That's Pandora's box. It's very, very simple. Yeah. So don't beat yourself up. We've done enough of that, eh?
Yeah. Just on that point, there was one guy that came to see me 3 times. He kind of became a Facebook friend and then came to my show. He came back 3 times, and he listens to your show as well. We have talks now about Hermeticism, and he's quite a well-educated guy, so I kind of felt, okay, at least somebody gets me, and this guy's very intelligent, so there is there is hope,
Well, that's it. It's funny you say that, because I had one philosophy in music. Every time I went to a different city to play or whatever, I had a goal. For me, it was very achievable. That when I went in and played a show or did a venue or whatever, all I wanted to have was one new fan of what I was doing, music and stuff, right? And that, for me, was victory. If I had one individual come up and said, I really like what you're doing, then they resonated with the songs. Then they resonated with not only the music and what have you, but there is a very deep message in the music I write. As I've come to learn over the last couple of years, I didn't write songs. I wrote prophecy. And I'm seeing them unfold before my very eyes, and it's quite something. And it's a good thing I only wrote about 2 things, hope and love.
Yeah, I've never said this to you before, but recently I downloaded about 10 of your songs, and I was pretty much blown away by them. I was like, I was playing them, I was like, who's that? It's just on my computer. I was like, my God, that's Kate. And then again, I was like, oh God, that's Kate again, I was really majorly impressed with your stuff.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed you, because those are your songs. They're not mine. I caught them off the wind. You see, yeah. I take creation very seriously, in that I am the sum of the experience of you. Everything that I've interacted with in this universe, other beings, have made me what I am. So how can I not be part of you and you part of me? Because that's all I am, is I am the culmination and the sum of the parts of that which we are. So, well done, guys. You know what I love about you? Is what you've made me and what you've allowed me to be. And I'm talking all aspects. Those that have beat the living shit out of me at some points in my life, and those that have picked me up when I was down. That have made me, like, this is the thing about the songs. And the same thing with you, Billy. You do the poetry, and you get going on rants pretty good. By all means, people, Billy's on Facebook, and you can get to his channels and stuff, and go and enjoy Billy. He's a fun individual. Got his shit together too. With me, I can't be anything but grateful, and I am your mirror. Are you happy with you? Well, this is the thing. If you're happy with me, then you have to be happy with you, because I am just a mirror image of your reflection in my own experience of what I have learned and what I have come to learn as a result of interacting with all of you. Whether it's on a text on the computer, or whether it's on Skype, or whether it's face-to-face, is irrelevant, because every interaction I have with every individual that I meet, I have met tens upon tens of thousands of people, thankfully, most through music, actually more so now with this. But I am you because I am the sum of you and the all of you, So it's not a very difficult concept to get once you get it. It's when you realize that everything that you are is the result of everything that has gone around you, that has built you or broke you. You will start to see yourself. And if you are feeling broken and down, you might want to start looking at those that you're interacting with immediately around you. The deceivers are everywhere, so be mindful of that. They generally like throwing them in your own family, by the way. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. There's a few relationships I've had recently that's kind of, made me wake up to myself a bit more, and kind of, I don't know if the relationships that teach you this, or you kind of just look at the people around you and the things you're going through, and you're like, I've created that, and it's time for me to actually totally change and, step away from certain relationships, basically for my own good, and it's quite difficult to do that, but I guess it needs to be done. What's your viewpoints on relationships, and how are they there for teaching us, or are there certain people come into your lives from a past life that's got a certain thing to kind of karmically balance. Got any thoughts on that?
Okay, well, from my perspective, if you've read my Skype, you'll understand what I think of relationships. Here's the bottom line. And I'll be completely honest and completely blunt. You see, the last time I gave my heart away, in any sense of the word, I told myself this is the last time. Because this is it for me. I am done playing the high school games with people. They either get me or they don't. They either love all of me or they don't. Because I go into things unconditionally. And that last time was Sue, and I'm okay with that. So that's how I feel in relationships. I'm good. I am very good. I'm very lucky I got a chance to experience that. And who knows, maybe again, maybe not. It's irrelevant. What I have experienced and what I am experiencing is unconditional love, in that I have no terms. I don't place any terms upon anyone, especially Sue. And that's okay. So now as far as relationships with people, yes, of course. Well, one, we wouldn't have humanity without relationships. It'd be a little hard to procreate without that. But again, do we get so buried within them that we lose ourselves? And this is the whole idea. You should be building each other instead of looking for, well, you put the toilet roll on the wrong way and you keep leaving the seat up. You know,
so we can find somebody we think we fall in love with them, but actually, and then you have to have this relationship, but if the two people aren't pulling in the right way or not supporting each other in their, to make your highest goal, then I think it's basically not a good thing, because I was like doing my comedy or music or whatever, then I met my wife, and then just the whole life took a left turn, and been trying to fight back to get back to where I was going. Before,
The only advice I would give to anyone on that regard, I'll speak in terms of marriage only because of what it is. I don't condone the whole marriage thing. You're either with someone because you love to be with them and you don't need a contract because you've already made that contract via heart. If you're going to marry anyone, just marry your best friend. And you better find your best friend, because they're the only ones that are going to put up with your shit. Okay? and vice versa. So if you're, again, depends, what is the intent? Why are you going out? And I will say this, here we go into relationships on outside the box. What a funny thing to do. But anyway, here we go. What is your intent with a relationship? What are you looking to get? And that's generally what people go into relationships for. What can they get? You see, I'm a little different. I go into a relationship always with what can I give.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, some people just don't get that. And that's okay. I will remain unconditional in that. I am a creator, trying to be a co-creator with others. And what I have found in my life is that I end up doing most of the creating, and I become a crutch for people. And here I am in a position now where I have been crushed to the ground, still standing, smiling, going, fuck you, system. And I will, to the last breath, no problem. And all those closest to me, by design of system, I am the target. I am the enemy. It was something I did. And I'm not allowed to be desperate. I'm not allowed to fight for my family and see the truth and work as hard and as diligently as I possibly can against impossible odds, against an entire system alone. And I did it. I did it alone. And at the end of it all, you can look at it in terms of everything having been taken from me, family and all, that I failed, but I didn't. Actually, I had the victory. And the victory was I found me. And I found the truth of me, and I found many more truths attached to me that I'm allowed and very happy to share, to get perspective from you. That's why I do this 7 nights a week. And it's funny, Billy, everybody, I got to tell you, I made a commitment to myself that I would not do this 7 nights a week because it would drain me. And all it's doing now, because of the awakening that I'm seeing, is it's empowering me more and more. And I have threatened to take a night off on occasion because I would like to do a couple of things, but the greater purpose always wins, and I always end up from the 9 on the air, and generally somewhere else during the day, like today, 2 other times. So there you go. I'm obsessed with you.
I appreciate you and Kate and everything you're doing, and Santos as well when he comes on. So just say keep up the good work, and I'll go off the call and let somebody else call and maybe finish the last 20 minutes.
Okay, well, it's always good to hear from you, my friend, and Skype chat sometime, or Uvu, or whatever you want, and we'll sit and shoot the breeze. Always a treat to talk with you. I'll just put your, if you're going to hang out, I can just put your mic on hold here, and I will just do another shout out. We got about 20 minutes. We'll probably roll past the hour for sure. We always do. But Billy, thank you so much. Always a treat to have you around, my friend.
No worries. Thanks for having me. Take care.
All right. Okay, I'm going to do a little shout out here. If you do have any questions or comments, just hit 1 now, and I will know if you want to come into the call. That way I'm not going to go down and bother people that are just listening. That would be great. Tony.
It did it again, the little basket. And it shifted again.
You love me. If I wasn't a bitch, you wouldn't love me. That's how it works.
Still, yeah, good to hear from you, Phil. Keep up the good work, mate.
There you go.
Okay.
And no, I haven't seen anybody else chime up with wanting to ask questions or have any comments. I'd love to hear from you. So please hit 1 on your keyboard, and I'll know that you want, or on your phone that you want in the call. So there you go. It's got about 20 minutes. Now I did cover the money thing and I covered religion. What was the other thing I wanted to go over? I have covered words a bit too. What else did I want to cover, Tony?
I'm not sure. What did you do?
Okay, I know what I can do.
Go on.
Because we have people that are worried about carrying ID, yes?
Yep.
All right, well, we need to get you back in honor first. We need you to understand what that identification is, and it's not you, okay? You entered all those contracts unknowingly, okay, that you were actually, by omission and commission, committing fraud doing so. You were writing checks on somebody else's account, literally. You were creating obligations on someone else's account, namely the Crown or the state. It's all the Crown anyway, so just get over that part of it. Okay? You did not mean to. It's a very difficult world to survive in without it, and no one can be expected to do the impossible. All right? And once you get, that's a maxim, by the way. No man can be expected to do the impossible. So once you get clean hands, and the clean hands show up when you actually come to terms with the fact that, oh my God, Kate might be right. I'm going to have a look at this. And by the way, here's the good news. Thank you, Bug. You can get the essay online now. The long and short of it. It is Scribd. It is downloadable, so you can Google it. Just Google the long and short of it by Kate of Gaia. And that is an essay that I wrote to explain. I've got one more coming up. I'm still working on it. But that will explain to you the nature of the fraud, how your parents aided and abetted you into the fraud, how the state, Crown / whatever, church state, didn't disclose what it was that my mom and dad were doing when they registered. They weren't told. The church certainly didn't tell them when they got married what was going on, and the state won't tell them when they're married, have a license, and have kids. No, they want to make sure that they fraud you without you knowing. You see, a fraud revealed is null and void nunc pro tunc. So in the mirror of that, that means that a fraud unrevealed doesn't exist until it becomes in your awareness. So what I'm trying to do is to bring that into your awareness, that there was a great fraud committed against us, the original sin, non-disclosure of the ramifications were when mom and dad signed on the dotted line to register and give away your divine, literally cut you in half, took away your divine creation essence, the true creation of feminine magnetic. They left you only with the phallus. Time to castrate thyself and get both back. And this is what you do. If I was to give you a bond that said to you, well, this bond is based on an entity's spiritual agreement and contract in life, and it's worth X number of dollars, And then all of a sudden I turn around and say, well, I've emptied it of that spirit. Would you buy the bond? This is how we crash the bonds in the ethereal realms. So I'm going to do a shout out to people that think that there's some magic that they can do with regards to the physical bonds. I assure you, most assuredly, you cannot, and you are playing with fire. You are playing with the lives of others, the spiritual lives, and you will pay the price if you continue. There's a very large price to pay on this because you are cannibalizing your fellow brothers and sisters while you think you are helping them. You most certainly are not. You do not understand what the bonds are if you're playing in that game. All right? If you're hypothecating documents, writing your signature, you are creating fraud. They will use it. So the easy way to crash the system, to take down this house of cards that was built upon the sand, and I'm the big bad wolf showing up, is to expose it for what it is, remove its power, huff and puff, and blow that house down. And you will do that in an ethereal sense once you just get these concepts. There is nothing more you need do. Stop signing things, okay? Because once you sign it, your intent is on the paper. Your thought to sign it came first. Spiritual contract. You see, people forget about the higher contracts and the lower contracts. And in this universe, it is all about contracts, high and low, okay? Not high or low. That's duality, high and low. So you have to bring the spiritual into it as well. You have to understand that when you commit an act, that came after the thought. That's the act is the egg. Every thought is the chicken, and every act that follows it is the egg that you laid. And it will come to life, I assure you, because it is life, yours, and the lives of others. So I would ask that you stop cannibalizing your neighbors spiritually. Right? You need to survive. There's no question about that. I'm not saying just drop it. I wish you all would, but most people just aren't ready for that. So I'm trying to ease you through it. I've made the call of doing it to that extent. I literally said, no more. That's my puzzle piece. That's mine. All right? So I'm going to hold this puzzle piece, and here's the 100th monkey that you referred to earlier, Carol. The 100th monkey is realizing you are each the 100th monkey. And once you find your piece of the puzzle and you hold it, you have your key. Mon key. Mon key. Mon, French for mine, key. My key or my life. Right? There's no coincidence in any of the words and how they're spelled. I'll give you another quick breakdown of one of the words I used to use a lot to try to show people how to start busting words apart. You're familiar with the term admiralty, I'm sure. Admiralty courts. All right? And also this, before I get into admiralty. Anytime you say court, remember, you were saying church. And anytime you say church, you are actually saying court. They're one and the same. If you look up on the website, you'll see the court of United Church. It is one and the same. All right, now the word admiralty. At first glance, it's, one word. But I see, at first glance, I see four. I see more than four, but I'll stick to the four that are easiest to explain to people. Ad, mire, all, T. Ad, Latin for to, as in to go somewhere, or in a direction of, to. All right? I'm going to that. So there's your ad. Mire, to bog down. Quagmire, to mire your wheels down in the mud, to slow you down, to mire. All right, so now we have admire, to bog you down. All, very, very straightforward. Take that one literally. All is also another sound of spirit. El, the power of spirit, is Isis, Ra, El, Israel, is feminine, Ra, masculine, El, power of spirit. Okay, or the magnetics. So admire all, so that's to bog down all, and T, of course, is the note of love. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Please do not return to do. The money had you the first time round. All right, so what the word admiralty means, and they do a very good job of it, is to bog down all love. And they do it with fear, and they do it very majestically. And they have you fighting, fist fighting, thinking you need vengeance or revenge, And, well, I'm going to write out this fine for this cop, that if they say this, that, and the other, they're going to owe me this. And all you're doing is you're still bartering in the lives of your brothers and sisters. I would ask that you stop. You know, until you know who you are, it's never going to happen anyway. You see, all those layers have been peeled. The system is down to the core. We have it bared to the bones here. And that's why you're seeing the ramping up of this, what I would call dramatic negative energy, and they are using actors to do it. Take the hint, all the world's a stage. Are you buying the show, or are you moving along? Right? Because we all know that Boston was a show. It was all done with actors.
Yep. And if you did, front page of Sync.
So once you understand that these are all, everything that you see that is fear porn, the Chris Dorner thing, 9/11, all of it, it's all acting. Very dangerous acting. It takes out some people's lives, some innocence. And of course they like to kill off their actors, and then the actors show up again, like the principal at Sandy Hook showed up as excuse me, another victim at the Boston Marathon. Isn't that kind of funny? But and of course they like to hire ex-military that have had limbs blown off, which they did for that as well. So start seeing it for what it is. It's all a show, guys. Are you buying it? Are you feeding it with your beautiful, emotional, feminine bitch energy? Are you going, oh my God, look at that, and look at the energy you're flowing at it. Even looking at it is flowing at energy. So what I do now is I negate all of that and expose it for the fraud that it is, and it's a joke. That's why I don't stare at it. As soon as a false flag comes up, I go, there's another one. All right, moving along. We know why. I don't care. You can give me all the reasons in the world. There's only one reason why. It's to get your attention. It's to get you looking so that your beautiful energy that you create, where attention goes, energy flows. So stop putting your energy into it by looking at it so intently like it fucking matters, because it doesn't. The only thing that they want to make matter is you. Matter, that's the divine feminine again, mother, alma mater, yeah? Okay, what is this stuff? Well, we call it matter because, of course, it came out of mother. This is creation. All matter is from mother. No penis required, just the intent that comes after the magnetics, called electrical, the prodigal son that has went haywire. The divine masculine has become the divine bitched out furies of hell female. Literally. What we're having, it says it right in the commandments. The Lord thy God is a jealous God. If that's the one that you wish to worship, Christian, you are a fool. You show me where there is love and jealousy, and I will show you bullshit. Lord thy God is a jealous God. Really, find the unconditional love in that. I dare you. But the answers are there. They're so blatantly clear, but we have been conditioned by these false prophets, and I mean both kinds. The ones that go out and are prophets to speak, and of course prophets at the end of the day when you're in the black. Isn't it funny that you talk about being in the red and when you're in debt, and in black when you're making profit? You know, guys, you're caught in the web of ego. You're caught in the whore of Babylon. I'm just asking you to let go. Relax your hands, relax your grip. The Chinese finger trap has you. You will rip your fingers off trying to escape this. The only way you're going to get out of this is once you calm down. Get control of your emotions, your stops. Okay, your divine feminine, the most beautiful aspect of you. Once you get a grip of it, then you can take the other most beautiful part of you, called the divine masculine, and change your intent. That's what we do. We have to get creation sorted first, then we direct it. It's a little hard to sail a boat if you haven't built it first. That's what thoughts are. That's what the mind is. The ancient word for mind is ship. That's why they have citizenships, ownerships, proprietorships. Okay? That's owner minds. It's all there. It's all there in black and white, literally, in the prince and princesses that we divulge ourselves into. It's time for us to step aside. It's time for us to finally wake up to how we are harming ourselves and each other by using this system and being used by it. Once we get this awareness, the game changes. You see, this is not about abandoning everything, because quite frankly, you cannot. I did because for some reason I thought I could. And I had a particular piece of the puzzle. I knew what my 100th monkey part was. And I decided, and here's the thing, once you get your piece of the puzzle, you're the only one that has to. No one else has to have that piece. That's yours, because you're a 100th monkey. Right? So I have my piece. You can all act in honor with your ID once you get the concept, and only once you get the concept. And that doesn't say, well, that's not Sunday morning absolution after you went out and banged the neighbor's wife or husband yesterday. Okay? No. That's not how this works. This is about repentance. Repent. Let me tell you what repent means. Re, again, Son of God. The light of God. You. Pen, which means head or mind. T, note of love. So you better get your mind back into the light of God Creator, you, in love. All right? When you go out and covet thy neighbor, that brings in a whole lot of things. There, in one sense, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor, and then just before that, the Lord thy God is a jealous God. Well, what is coveting? It's the same bloody thing. It's jealousy of keeping up with the Joneses. Don't buy the lie. Move along. Who cares? Just because someone has a nicer car. Oh my goodness, look, they're more possessed than you are. The more money you have and the greed that you chase it with is your own slavery. You need to get that. The old saying was, he who dies with the most toys wins. No. He who dies with the most toys gets to fucking hang out here and do it again. Is that what you want? Do you want more of this? Do you want more of kindergarten, boys and girls? Because I'm sure if you really want that, you can have that. By all means, I would love for you to have that wish, if that truly is your wish. It is not mine. I do not share that vision with you. Okay? This is about moving on. This is about changing how we do things. We have to change our minds, our intent first, before that egg will get laid properly. So let's plant these seeds properly. Let's not beat each other up. All right? Now we've got about 4.5 minutes here before we go off the air. So if you are listening and you want to get in and hear anything past the hour, you will have to call in. You can call in at area code 661-467-2401. Area code 661-467-2401. And of course you can Skype in. Just refresh the page. You might want to do that now. And you can use the Skype button because it does appear after you refresh the page. And you can Skype in to listen to anything beyond the top of the hour here. Or you can just grab the archive and listen back to it. And if there are any archives that I really hope and wish that you would grab, would be the last week's worth. And just focus on those, because this is where you truly get to know thyself. And I'm really trying my best to get this across. I always feel like I fail miserably doing it, but I will do it nonetheless. All right? So a big thank you to criticalmassradio.co.uk. Paul, Lisa, the crew at Critical Mass, for giving us this platform every single night of the week, prime time no less. And I cannot be more grateful, and I know you, the listeners, because we get to do this together. This is your show, not mine. We get to do this together. I know you're grateful too, because we get to learn together. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. This is a party. So there you have it. So again, if you want to call in and catch the rest of the show, I would highly recommend you do that now before we roll in, because once we get into recording, you cannot call in. And for those of you that, I'm just checking down things right now to see if anybody, calling button, dead now, not working. Okay. Well, Ninja, I can certainly bring you in with me. Not a problem at all. So that's actually, I'll just wait for you. Ninja, if you want, just text me back in Skype and I will bring you into the call with me. because you are on Skype, I can do that with a couple of people. All right, and Tony, not to give you a head fake here or not, but anything you want to say just before we pop off the air into the recording?
Just that really we've got another shot coming up on Critical Mass main radio show once a week now as well. And, oh, crikey, help me out, was that a Tuesday? It is a Tuesday, isn't it? 6 till 9. Is that right?
What's that? Oh, yes, we're doing the daytime. For me, it's daytime. It's, I believe, 6 to 8, which is 1 to 3. We'll confirm that up anyway. We have a bit of time here to do that. We'll confirm that up, but we're doing an afternoon slot or an evening slot in the UK with Critical Mass main station. So we're actually going to be working the mother station and, of course, the sister station here. We've got a minute and a half here, Tony. I do have Ninja in the call here, just to let you know. And
really, just going to say we're adding things to the site day by day. We've got oils added to the site now, and also an area where you can get the best of the best vitamins and nutraceuticals, shall we say. Good stuff, good shit, really is. And so, I mean, if you want to pop along there, we've got the people, we've got the advice, and we've got the experts coming online to help us out. So, Syncrenicity is it. Let's build it up, right?
All right, so before we got about a minute here before we go off. We say it all the time, but I'd like to reinforce it. Our website for all things Tony, Santos, and Kate, you can get us at www.syncrenicity.com. That's syncrenicity.com. And sometimes you might have a bit of an issue getting there. They do like to make things difficult for people. But just refresh and do it again. And don't worry, we're there and growing by the day. So there you go. All right, 10 seconds and we're off the air into the overdrive. And I have Ninja. How are you, Ninja?
Hi, Kate. Tony.
Hey, how are you?
Hiya. How you doing?
Oh, getting a lot of hiss. Ninja, are you saying anything there, love?
I am, yes. Can you hear me?
Can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks, Tony. I've just decided to call in, but I don't know why.
Well, no, that's by all means. I don't know why I do this either, kiddo. Hey, wait a minute!
I was itching. I was pressing this button and it wouldn't work, and I thought, oh, okay.
Hey, I got a great idea. Why don't I choose a life path where I get my entire family destroyed, everything I've ever worked for, my life taken away from me, and left destitute on the street, at minus 20 degrees. That would be great. What a great idea! I think I'll do that. So I did.
Oh, I think I phoned in to say thank you for doing that.
Oh,
because that means that I don't have to do it. That means
bingo.
That somebody else doesn't have to do it.
Bingo.
And thank you for being the one that came here at the right time.
That was my job. That was my piece of the puzzle, and I'm very happy to serve. I chose to be the servant of servants, and all I want to do is fulfill that. There is no higher purpose, guys, and I got to tell you, the honor is incredible to be the servant of servants, in that when you're the servant of servants, you have the highest purpose. Big hill to climb, and it's been a tough one, but we're there. We are there, and it's because of what you are doing to change your mind that is changing my universe, and I can't be more grateful. It's amazing, to turn around and look at everything that's happened to me and say thank you. Because if it hadn't happened, I wouldn't be who and what I am right now. And I'm actually starting to really dig me. It's not a narcissistic thing either. This is it's very humbling, very peaceful. I can't even put it in words. And the closer that we get to this, and we are so close right now, we are literally a hair's breadth from it. The more serene and more beautiful it becomes, where you see the ripples of your butterfly flaps that go across the planet, and this world changes. Like in an instant, it does. I've seen it happen too many times. I'd send out an email and I watch Vatican shift gears. I shit you not. I'd sit stunned and go, oh, well, I wasn't expecting that. I just sent an email. Then I clicked on it. I don't have to do anything other than just do, in the mental sense, not in the OPPT sense. No, they're trying to still sell you the savior of money and UCC and stay in the system. Whatever you do, stay in the system. We want you because I'm a lawyer and I'm trying to convince you. My masters told me I had to do this. Sorry, this ghost ship just sank, and the gold went with it. Me, I'm okay. I'm moving on. Cool, huh?
Very cool indeed. Yes, thank you so much, and it's a pleasure every day to be a part of this family and to meet new people all the time, and just to see everything expanding. It's so fast, and exciting times. And thanks for being you. We love you.
And right back at you. We love you. No, this is a thing. This is that beautiful self-love that I speak of. And see, here's the thing: when you flow that energy out to your mirror, guess what it does? It comes back. That's why you'll see me write it all the time, mirror, mirror, because I'm trying to show everyone how beautiful they are. Because when people are expressing that unconditional aspect, that is the mirror, because that's what I'm projecting, and I'm seeing it come back, and I'm flowing it. Now we're dealing with two mirrors facing each other. And what do you have when you put two mirrors facing each other? You have
infinity.
You got it, right? So we need to be the mirrors to each other for infinity, and that's how hey, and by the way, beautiful that you got the concept. You nailed it.
I couldn't believe it because I suddenly just wow.
Click.
And I thought I must be wrong. I'm going to ask her. I thought that can't be so simple. And I thought, oh, she's not answered me yet because she thinks I'm thick, and I'm totally missing it still.
No, I think I wrote bingo or something to that effect.
Today you did, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I got it, yeah.
I've been able to write bingo more than half a dozen times in the last day and a half. I'm ecstatic.
Oh, fantastic.
I had Tracy on the call this morning when I was discussing the birth certificate again, and the ethereal sense of it, that we need not do anything physical. That's the and I have to explain this word. When you're using documents, all right, I need you to understand what the word means. The word doc is a reference to penis, literally, and I mean that. That's why they put you in the dock in court. They're literally putting you in the dick. Dick, doc, tick, tock, do the math, people. So when you understand that doc is phallus or penis or whatever you want to, dick, whatever, doesn't matter. Now you have penis, U, there's the sound of U again, that beautiful universal energy. U, by the way, is the universal symbol for electricity. There you go. Another little masculine thing going on. And of course, ment means mind. So it's penis, U, mind. And I like to make it very clear to people, which effectively says, fucked in the head. So that's what you're doing when you're using documents. All right, so stop doing it. Because you're literally banging yourself in the head, quite literally. So where was I going to go there? It's about ether. It's about getting the spiritual contract nailed, and that's what you nailed. And Tracy had her aha moment this morning, and it was beautiful because it clicked. And I heard, I'm going to get the recording because the click was beautiful. And I know when people get it because I get goosebumps. I get the energy that they send out. And it's like, there we go. There's someone that nailed it. That's how I verify. Oops. Lose. Am I still on there, Tony?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, I think, let me just go to the host call because I pulled. Oh, we still have Ninja. Pulled in Donna, and do you know what? It's amazing. I can never have a decent phone call with Donna because we get Skype hacked. Like, I don't know what it is. We're not supposed to talk apparently. But anyway, Donna, just all you have to do is rejoin the call, and you'll come back in. So that's what happened there. But anyway, the click happened, and it was joyous. It was beautiful. It's all of a sudden, oh my God, all I have to do is change my intent on this. Reverse it. Now you've got it. Now you've taken your feminine energy back. Once you understand that they stole that, literally they stole it. And I'm not letting anyone off the hook on this. Yes, mom and dad screwed up by doing it, but they also didn't know what they were doing, nor was it disclosed to them that someone was trying to enslave us. And they've done a pretty good job using religions and their interpretations of the books, which are all wrong. So don't preach to me about anything that you've learned in your church. If you want to talk to me first, then I'll explain a few things so you understand it. Better yet, spend a bit of time with Bill Donahue on hiddenmeanings.com. If you really want to understand a lot about what the Bible is going on, there's a man that's went into incredible depth and incredible lengths of exposing it. Santo does the same, not to the same extent, but there's a guy that knows that book cold. 20 years of being a Jehovah, that was his training, so it would get into him, so he would understand it when it did click. And then, of course, myself. And there's others that do it as well, but when you understand the allegorical, metaphorical nature of those books, and you have to leave you cannot have oil and water, guys. It's either you take it literally or you take it metaphorically, allegorically. If you take it literally, you have this hateful world that we have that religion has foisted upon you and the rest of us. Or if you take it metaphorically, you'll start understanding what that cool cat JC was trying to teach you. He didn't say worship him, he said be him and you can do greater things than I. He was an Eastern mystic teacher. He was hermeticist. He was of the Ascends. John the Baptist was of the Ascends. Okay? And Tracy just tagged me here, so I might be bringing her into the call. Oh, still on? Or am I blocked? No, yeah, you can't get onto the call now. Let me see, I'll just bring her in here. All right, so we got, that's about the max I can do, 3 people in with me. But anyway, the point of the matter is this. It's about coming to terms with yourself first and getting that aspect of awakening, that you have those aha moments and you understand that you are God. Ye are gods. You are creation because you are of creation. You cannot be separated from that. You're here. You're consciousness. You're aware of that. If you weren't, well, you wouldn't be here now, would you? So you are creation itself. Anyway, Tracy, I just brought you into the call here, hon. Ninja, you're fine. I can bring, we're not having high demands here for people wanting in on the call here, so no problem. I can comfortably bring 3 people into the call, no problem. So, Tracy, what's on your mind? Oops. Are you there, Tracy? You have to unmute. There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's really bad, though.
Oh, okay, hang on.
Yeah, hang on. It's like me. It's like, hang on, you 15,000 people. I'm busy. It's not great, but it's better. Anyway, great. That was a great call this morning. I really enjoyed hanging out with you and Dave on Wolf Spirit.
Well, yeah, that was good. I mean, there we were, but I still had what you were talking about on my mind, obviously. And so, yeah, it turned out great. Dave loves you, and it was fun, because I was really, I think I just heard you talking about that when an idea between 2 people, like you realize that truth. It was pretty cool morning.
Yeah, well, I got to experience your aha moment when it clicked.
Well, yeah, you did. Like what you were. Like, I wasn't struggling with the
no, I'm not. No, again, I am just happy. See, here's the thing. It is such a very simple concept. I was just talking with Ninja about that, and Ninja just said it perfectly. He said it can't be this simple.
Well, yeah, it is. It really is. So I had that. I knew what you were saying because it's always resonated. I mean, we're kindred spirits. But when I was hearing you talking about it being a concept, I was like, well, how can I help this? How can I help her say this? And I wasn't really sure, and I realized that in that moment when I was like, oh, I get it. Like, I didn't know that I wasn't totally getting it until then. So that was fun, but
That was a beautiful moment, and I like the fact you brought up the word concept, and we were talking about concept and truth this morning. Let me clarify the word concept. It's two words. Con, which means with or against, pros and cons. Webster's was a big clue in 1913. They changed that prefix to mean, well, it can mean, for it or against it, with something or against it, right? Give you a couple other words in a sec that involve the word con, so I'll show you why your Constitution is absolute shite, and you better not, for all Americans, you better not think it's yours. It's a perfect trap. Concept, right? You have con with set, which is 7, right? So you're with God. You're with yourself. There's no external God. You are God. You better get that notion very quickly, right? It's not like you're the God of all. That's what happened to these wankers that got all screwed up. No, you are God and part of God and responsible for creation as much as every other particle and aspect of light that is here, okay? Constitution, do you know what the word means? I was going to bring that up this morning, or this afternoon as well, Tony, with Stephen and Alan, when he said constituency. Let me explain to you what a constitution is and what a constituency really is. Con can mean for or against, with or without, okay? Again, remember, assumption and presumption is always the case with the church state thing, okay? They're always going to assume the other side of it because they're flipping the coin on you. That's why you got to be the coin, neither the head of the dragon or the tail. Heads and tails, all right. Yep. Be the coin. Constitute. Constitute means to stand. Okay. That's where they derive the word statute. A statue is something that just stands, right? A statute or a statue is the same thing. They've just changed the vowel. All right? So what constitute means is without standing. That's why they demonized things like, well, if you want to really be for standing, you would be a prostitution. You'd be prostitution, for standing. But what do they turn that into? They turn that into a hooker on the street corner. Of course you don't want to be a prostitute. You want to be a constitute. You want to be without standing, right? Constitute actually translates into notwithstanding clause. All right? And that's what it's assumed to be. So if you claim that you're part of a constitution or a constituency, you're saying, I don't have any standing. Please beat the living shit out of me because I'm a moron.
Over and above that, but it's a third-party contract anyway, which you weren't involved in.
Bingo! You interloping third-party fool, contempt of court, fraudulent piece of shit, you. Time to stop doing that. Criminal. You got to stop being criminal. You're the criminal. Oh, but I shut up. I hear the inner... I love Bill Hicks. I hear the inner dialogue. You're wrong. Get over it. Shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Bingo, There, and now that's the exact answer. Start laughing at this, guys. Did we get duped on the high level? What a game. It was masterful. We just got to be a little bit more diligent and a bit more masterful than them. And you can't have a game without two sides in a duality realm. So why are you beating up the other team? They have a job to do. We have a job to do. If you want to find out who they are, check out their birth charts. Get their time of birth down to the minute. Read their chart. You'll know who is for and who is against. You'll know the away and the home team, okay? And those of us that are awake, we're of the away team.
Which is why they don't want you to look at that and make it all evil. It's of the devil.
Exactly. Well, the only way you'll solve the devil without is when you solve the devil within.
Hey, Kate, did you read Ninja's comment?
Oh, no, actually. Ninja's got quite the sense of humor, hon.
Go ahead, you're going to have to read it. I'm not.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm not reading that.
No, I'll say that's beautiful. Absolutely. Okay, I have to say this because we're not on the air right now. It's in the archives. I'm going to have to say this, okay, because it is such a true statement.
Okay, say it.
This is truth of an extraordinary level if you can see it and handle it once. Now, remember, I defined one of the words earlier by the letter, okay? And I just told you what the other word means, for standing. So here's what I want to be. I want to be a cunt and a prostitute.
Okay, I have to share a joke, you guys. I'm a Sagittarian, and the last time I used to go to the bar scene, like many years ago, but I turned to a girlfriend and I said, okay, I'm going to stay in here for a while, but so help me, if somebody asks me my sign, I'm going to leave, right? So just after that, the bartender said, what sign are you? And I said, I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a bit of a cunt sometimes.
Hey. Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful.
And I figured I could have sold that, on the streets of Toronto to a stand-up comic. That's how they do it. They buy jokes like that. That was brilliant.
It is brilliant. I'm a vegetarian. I love it. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we've totally went into the basement with this one, but that's beautiful. That is some good humor. Thank you. And there's the best way to learn truth is when humor, laughter is the sudden realization of the half truth.
Yeah.
It's where a joke goes in an opposite direction of where you were expecting.
And you're laughing instead of them.
Exactly. It's a beautiful thing. I know Tony's probably chomping at the bit here. Oh, Donna, have we got you?
Can you hear me, Kate?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Brilliant. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
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 So what are your thoughts, Donna?
On.
Okay, I'll give you an easy one. Your thoughts on the universe?
On the universe.
I'll give you.
What are my thoughts on what I am?
Bingo.
Okay, go there. What's your thought on the C word?
Well, on what? On the C word? The cunt?
Yes.
Okay, that's a different way to say it.
Only the Irish can get away with saying that word.
Well, I'm half Irish, so I'm going to say it as well, cunt.
Oh my God! Okay, tonight's catchphrase word. We know what it is now. That's beautiful.
But we've just diffused it. We've just totally diffused it. It's safe now.
Yeah.
Totally. Once you understand that it is the open creation of the electrical manifest mine of love. Absolutely. Now you know what it is. It is devoid of creation, literally, and it is a beautiful flow of love word that they totally turned into a curse. What do you call handwriting? It's called cursive. So why don't you curse yourself into oblivion? Stop doing it. Please. Anyway, I'm hoping that there are people. That was beautiful. That was very, very beautiful. Just giggle. And there we are, guys. Stop taking everything so seriously. If you are offended, you need to go and visit the mirror for a while and ask yourself why you're so narcissistic and why your opinion matters more than everyone else's. And
join the laughter, because that just felt really good to admit that I used to tell that like after midnight, but to say that just the way I did, that's such a relief.
Well, it is, and you know what it is now, and you know exactly what the real intent of the word. Now look at the word intent, which means not covered. A tent is a covering, yes, like an apocalypse. In before a word means not, so not covered. So this is about letting go of all. Now you can be in tent, you can be covered, or you can have intent, which when you join them together, you there's that N word again, not the one that you're thinking of. And that's actually another beautiful word that came out of Tibet. Don't need to say it, but again, until people start growing up and realizing it, do the homework on these words, guys. Have a look at all the bad words that we use in our supposedly bad words in our vocabulary, and you will be stunned to find out where the origins of these words come out of, and they are some of the most beautiful sacred sounds on this planet.
I mean, it's the same thing again now. All we're doing is demonising the words that are actually beneficial, or demonising the shit that you need to know, so that you never look at it, because you go, oh, I can't go there, I can't look at this, I can't say that, I can't do that. It's an I can't idolatry.
Yeah, absolutely. When you say you can't, you've already, you're right. When you say you can, you're right. And here's the thing about what is the word I'm looking for? That's right, political correctness. Who introduced that? Well, that would be the system that introduced that. Just like they introduced multiculturalism, the most divisive piece of friggin' crap you want on the planet. I mean, Canada's all about multiculturalism. How about we just be? Why do we have to go into this, I'm this, I'm that, you're this, you're that? Let's keep it all separate. No, I'm sorry. The only culture I can see is in a petri dish, and it's called blood. Yep, that's red. Yeah, just like yours. Okay, and I bet if I slap you in the face, that'll hurt too. Yeah, okay, yeah, you're human. Wait a minute.
You are aware who's promoted all of this multiculturalism?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is, and it's all Belfast.
Run Hollywood and media and banking.
Well, it's the same morons that brought you the word anti-Semitism. Okay, I love this. This is a beautiful word to break down. You don't actually have to break it down because most people don't understand. Is Semitics is a group of languages. It's not a Jew. Fucking morons. Look it up. Semitics. It actually involves, okay, if you're anti-Semitic, here's what you're saying, that you don't like people that speak Farsi, Arabic, Hebrew, and I think there's about 14 dialects within that. So you don't like Iranians, you don't like Saudis. So if you see what I mean? They take one little piece of it and try to be a thief and steal it all. That's the way of these people, these dark entities, right? And I'm not gonna say the word Jew and have all everyone thinking that I'm anti this or that. No, I'm anti bullshit. Okay.
Yeah. The cleverest bit is they've put themselves up to the Jews, yet they're not the Jews we are.
I know they're not. They here's the thing, right? How do you convince a people to be a scapegoat? Well, tell them they're chosen. Set them up for the kill. And they fucking bought it, hook, line, and sinker. Set them up for the kill, and of course, as soon as something happens, the same people that did it to them are the ones that are saying, "Oh, we're them." If you're gonna hide, the best place to hide is with those you're beating up, killing and slaughtering. By claiming to be them and then slaughter them quietly, boy, you set yourself in a perfect victim, don't you?
And that
makes sense to me, but it's a perfect trap.
There's a brilliant website I want to get out just before we go, and it's Big-Lies. And I've actually contacted the guy who's on this show, and he's got some serious information. It's big-lies.com. I suggest you check it out.
Oh, it'd be great. Excuse me. Anyway, and I'm hoping tonight, I mean, for me, it's been a beautiful day of radio. It has been absolutely stunning. I only got hacked twice on OYM. I didn't get hacked on Wolf Spirit, and I've only been bumped once tonight. So, this is the thing, is now we're all starting to resonate. These guys are done. They know it. And I don't have any vengeance. I just, stop. Can we get on with this, please? I've had enough. You lose, we win, and that's good always wins. That's the way this planet works. That's the way this universe works. Evil, by definition, must destroy itself. All I do is give it a little push. Okay, I'm in a steamroller, but I'm giving it a little push and being very, very vocal about it. So anyway, jump in, guys.
Wrecking ball, Kate.
Oh yeah, I'm a walking, talking three-way wrecking ball with a chainsaw and a flamethrower, and I don't have any fuel for the chainsaw because I prefer to sharpen it, use it manually, and I save the fuel for the flamethrower. Does that work?
Thanks very much. That's all I have to say in that one. Thanks very much.
Terminator.
Well, I got to tell you, the one thing that Ninja said absolutely nailed it, and it is about the piece of the puzzle. I've got mine, you've got yours. No one else has to do what I have done. No one else has to do what Tony has done, what Santo has done. None of you have to do any of that. Those jobs are done. You have a job to do, and I pretty much assure you it's probably not as intense. It could be, who knows, whatever you chose as your role. But you have your role to play. We're just playing ours. We have these pieces. You need to take some baby steps. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I will identify Tracy as being one of those that has got a big part to play in it, and she knows it, but she's got some working to get done. But, for the majority of it, we've had to sacrifice ourselves for this. We knew that when we found out what it was. It's like, oh my God, you actually get it and you realise, shit, okay, this is what I've got to do, and then you apply yourself to doing it. So, like Kate says, the bigger bits have to be done by certain people. The rest of it will just flow. Just take the first step, and you'll have to find out what that first step is.
Yeah, I was just waiting for Tracy to jump in there. And by the way, if I had a lot of people ask me the question, Kate, how do I find my piece of my puzzle, and how do I do this and how do I do that? Well, the first thing you gotta do is the first thing I had to do is I had to shut up. Quite literally, shut up. Get into the stillness. Get into your still space. Right? The answers are there. You're just not letting them because you're distracted. You are running energy constantly through the left brain trying to solve things. That is an ego thing. And I'm not saying the ego is evil. It's a very powerful little tool once you get a grip of the tricky little bastard.
Keep asking the question. Well, you'll eventually get the answer. That's it. Why am I here?
Oh, absolutely. And Donna, you have come out with some beautiful, profound things. I won't say you've shocked me. You can't. But one of the things I find, you're very much like me in that most of your profound nature comes out in your writing.
Definitely. That's
right?
where it comes flowing through. The nature of source that comes through, however it comes through.
Yeah, the way I think of it, you guys, is that's when you're in direct current, and when you're in alternating current is when the ego's getting in there and, manipulating things around. But when you stay in that direct current with heart source, and then you're coming from the heart, and then when people say, like, Kate, well, what do I do? Well, what I say to people is, well, notice the next thing that comes on your path in your day, and in that moment say, well, am I going to rise to this, and am I going to take a stand on the side of love and light, or, life, or am I? There's your choice in every moment, because you get delivered on your path what you need to rise to or learn from, whatever. So it's what's on your path. The next thing is the next thing for you.
And you made a very important observation or statement. Whether here, I'll show you where I went with this. And again, this is why you pay attention in the now, and you listen and see to everything. I got to tell you, when you get to a certain point in awakening, you don't miss much. Now, what you said about alternating current and direct current, okay? Direct current is absolute flow, nonstop. It is a punch through, right?
Yeah.
Alternating current, for me, is quite sinister.
Yep.
Okay, because the 60 cycle alternating current is what they use to control us. That's part of the control grid. As much as Tesla was a beautiful human being, I see things that he brought upon mankind as absolute curses. Where direct current
is like the Fibonacci code in music versus that other thing they made the music industry do, right?
Okay, well, let's look at AC/DC. If someone is AC/DC, what are they, Tracy?
Both.
Yeah,
right?
They're bi.
They're bi.
Right? So there's your masculine AC, feminine DC. What you need to be is both and get them into correct sync with each other.
And DC is your direct current heart. That's the feminine, right?
Right.
And then AC is the alternating ego getting in there, doing things once in a while.
And you want to know how to connect to source? You have to plug in the direct current. And the only way you can do that is to shut up.
Yeah.
Get into the still space. Find the darkest place you can. You can do this in literally seconds at any point during the day. Find somewhere where it's completely dark. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and hold it. Because as soon as you hold your breath, you stop thinking. Because your body, your ego, reptilian, goes into, oh my God, what the fuck's going on mode. And it's your body and all your thoughts are completely distracted. And it only takes a few seconds. And you'd be amazed at what kind of downloads you can get in a couple of seconds. Now, if you spend the half hour, an hour, if you can, great. But you don't need to. You see, because once you get an epiphany, it comes like, that, done.
But see, I can also do that in a walking meditation in nature, and I can also like turn off the mind, like totally in a moment where I'm feet in the soil and eyes on the sun.
I know only in the dark can you get this though, Tracy, to the level I'm speaking of.
Yeah.
only in the dark.
Yeah, I meditate as well too in that way, but I also find I can find stillness sometimes in that moment. Like you say, it doesn't last long, but in a moment where I'm not in that state.
In the twinkling of an eye, you get the download. It's that moment. It is the twinkling of an eye. Beautiful. You get it. Sorry, Tony, go.
I say it's also the swing of the pendulum. The pendulum only goes so far one way, and then it stops. And at that point where it stops, it returns back and swings back again.
Yeah. And we've reached that point.
It's Russellian science. Again, it's the same principle. It's Hermetic principle.
Absolutely. And there you've got the law of polarity, you've got the law of vibration, law of gender. they're all there.
And don't you think that pendulum's already swinging back the other way? Like we reached that point of saturation of deception? I mean, I feel that.
Oh, absolutely. Perihelion done. We've hit it.
Yeah.
You know,
not only is it going both ways at once, it's actually not a linear thing, it's a spiral.
Creation is circular.
And this is why we don't have to be reporting anymore of what, the awareness thing, like what they're doing and the false flags and all that. We don't have to be going over it and over it and over it anymore because we're just
empowering it.
We're putting it there. We're delaying where we are already at. What we and all intended collectively and individually for a long time now. We just have to get out of the way, shut up, or get out of the way, and whatever that looks like and feels like. And allow ourselves to land on that creation that we've already intended. It's here.
Yeah. Have I spent any time during the show tonight defining fear porn?
Go for it.
Okay. I know I do this fairly regularly. I want to make sure people know what it is. Fear porn. Anytime you hear me say that term, it simply means this. Anything that contains a negative energy that has a feeling of desperation, anger, loss, grief, greed, any of the vice attributes that does not end up with a solution. It is merely a reporting of a bad incident. That's fear porn.
That's the treasures. That's the treasures that need to be given up.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. People are still doing that on my Facebook. I can go on my Facebook and I'm looking at a dead mother on the ground with a baby trying to suckle on her breast. Like, who put that there? I don't want to look at that. I cried for 10 minutes. And, I'm aware already.
We already know that. We already know what's been going on. We don't need to keep reinforcing the bullshit.
No, that's what I heard you, one of the tunes on there, I heard you talking about earlier, Kate, about directing the attention, and that's what needs to be learned as well, is how to direct that attention.
Well,
and that's
because the ego that's stuck in awareness, those people that are aware, that's an achievement. That's great. It's like, okay, I see it, but there's a lot of attachment to that awareness and continuing to post those photos and I don't think people realize that they're fear porning. They don't.
That's been the trick, right? I mean, I know people mean well when they start busting things apart to say it's a false flag. Let me just solve it for you all right now. It's all acting. It's all false flag. Get into you, see the universe you wish to see, and stop building this crap that they're selling you.
Because they feed off that low energy. Literally, they feed off the energy. When we are sad or whatever, grieving, they feed. And
you know why? Here's the click moment. Because they own your divine, spiritual, feminine essence. They own your emotions through the register.
Wow.
Claim it back. It's yours. I got mine back. I get my bond is null and void. It is powerless. It is empty of all creation. I reclaim my divine feminine, and it will never be given away to anyone or anything again.
Snap.
Yay.
All right, now you understand the power of the spiritual register. It's a spiritual contract, and of course, Mom and Dad never meant it, and of course, the system did. So let's turn the tables. Anytime you use that name, you better know this. Is it the Crown Court, State, Church's intent that I aid and abet in my own incrimination by claiming to use or own or be a name that is otherwise not mine, which is clearly owned by Crown copyright? Is it the court's intent that I commit contempt of court, commit fraud, commit false identification, impersonation of a court officer, interfering with matters of state between crown and crown, it is your property, and third-party interloping. If it's the court's intent, please advise me now. Who owns the name? It is not mine. I am not a name.
Kit, I have a wee question for you, right?
You never have wee questions. You always have big ones. Go.
Well, there you go. Now, when I came to this reality, whatever, realization, I found out that my parents didn't actually give me the name at all. They never named me, ever. What I found out was that it was actually a nurse at the hospital where I was born that named me. Now that's really bad. I trust only things for me, because I was, well then, in actual fact, even if they did register me, they actually weren't giving my name away, were they? Whenever they didn't give it to me in the first place, it was gifted to me from a nurse at the hospital.
Better yet, that is actually third-party interloping, so it's fraud ab initio anyway.
Right.
Somebody interfered in the matters of your mother and father, stepped on the contract, so looks like I know someone else has got their stir back. Time to stir the pot. How cool is that, lucky bitch?
Oh, that's cool. There's been a few incidences along those lines, telling Tony about them.
Well, I tell you, there's an interesting thing.
During conversation there one night, that it's explained a few things to me that have happened afterwards, after that, you know.
Well, then there's no question that the state owns the name, because there's someone that was working for the ward, hospital ward, for the state. Oh, man. That's actually beautiful. That is beautiful. That's stunning. And there's another reality check for people, right? So your mom and dad didn't act, but they ended up aiding and abetting you in that fraud by calling you that name that someone else gave you, and of course they gave it away on their behalf. So there's a bit more fraud on their part, because they took somebody else's intellectual property and used it, right? I mean, you see the myriad of webs that can be cast.
Oh my God!
But the simplicity is very simple, but it's just tough to get. Now I think I can say to Tracy, you kind of know how hard it was for me to try to explain that now, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now you understand my frustration, and it wasn't at anybody else but me, because it was, when it comes to communications and Geminis, we take communication very seriously, and we beat the shit out of ourselves when we don't get it right. So that's all I've been doing for the last, couple of months.
Well, you're still formulating it, too. It's still coming together, and yeah, and I've been fascinated with it, because I'm like, okay, where is this going? Where is this going? And it wasn't that I was questioning it or not getting it at all. It was just jumping from that it's a concept to, oh, it's a truth. There it is. It's just so absolute. It was just so, spontaneous there.
Oh, yeah, I heard the moment. I'm going to be downloading that episode. I think I'm going to frame that Tracy moment. It's like, oh my God. So I got goosebumps when you did it, so it's really cool.
Well, I think there's probably some other people that might be listening or listen later that might, just feel similar clarity there, just because you really hammered it out finally.
Well, I tell you, I've had a lot of people over the last day and a half or so that, half a dozen or more, probably more now at this point, that are actually explaining it back to me, and this is what I needed. People like Randy posted up beautiful information. Vincent, I know Vincent gets it. Otis. And look at Otis did a beautiful thing on Facebook. What he did was, it was beautiful, wasn't it? Talking about officer blah blah blah. Now, there's a few details that have to be hammered out there, but what I saw there was, he's got it. Starting to see the turning of the tables. Now we are all the Christ walking into the temple and steel toe booting the tables over. All right, this is not just a one-off now. We're not dealing with one guy metaphorically walking in heavily outnumbered. We're walking in as a team now, because we were supposed to be the Christ, not worship it. So we are doing greater things than he, because we're doing it in mass now. Not their version of it.
Oh, we've come to realize there's no one over us. No one?
No, ye are God. And where the intent is never to harm, and getting control of that emotion, which is the creative feminine. Everything emotional is feminine, guys and girls. So any guys out there that don't think they're feminine, well, you better not have any emotions then. Because if you do, I'm going to call you a liar, because that's what the emotions are. And every woman out there that doesn't think they're masculine, well, if you have any sort of formulated thought with intent, you are masculine. All right? You can't have one without the other. And they have to work in unison. They have to work in balance. You got to find the 0 point in between. Take that pendulum that swung too far one way or the other and just move it back to center and find that beautiful still point and just let the downloads happen. It's beautiful.
Well, I became aware many years ago. I've always been, tomboy, but I'm also very feminine. And I became aware that I was really leaning on my masculine side to be the single mother, the provider. And then I heard Michael Tessarian talking about how women have murdered their feminine off, and I broke down and cried when I heard that, because I knew that I had done that. It had gone beyond providing, and just maintaining to really losing my desire, my feeling of feminine. And I realized it's because I had no dragon shield. There wasn't anybody holding the masculine to balance it outside of me. And it became out of balance. Well, I felt that it was, because I was ignoring my feminine needs. I was just putting them on hold for many, many years as a single mom, And so hearing Michael Tessarian say that, and then I'd read a book by David Dita just about the polarities of energies and how it works, in relationship and within us, and relationship, whether we're girl, boy, and how close to the act, how much balance do we have, our feminine and our masculine, and then what do those relationships we get into look like? So somebody whose love language is to be extreme feminine with an extreme masculine, those relationships can be quite volatile and hurtful, and sometimes it's a lot of back and forth. There's love there, but it's intense. There's two extremes, whereas people that have more of a balance of masculine and feminine, it might be a more boring relationship, you could call it, or stable relationship, or not as exciting, not as volatile. And some other people might look at that and say, well, that's just boring. But for those people, it really works. Is there's that balance in the marriage, and so it's not that much different than what's going on within us. So this has really brought me full circle to understand my path of leaning to my masculine side and what I was doing, and how for the last couple of years I've been really wanting to just be feminine and surrender to that feminine and allow things to come into my life instead of efforting, like being a creator, manifest, from the heart rather than go and seek and do something.
Oh, exactly. Well, listen, guys, we got about 15 minutes left here, so I'm not sure the pushing one is working, so I'm just going to do a quick scope on the callers. There's half a dozen in here left right now, so I'm just going to go up the list here. Area code 540. Where are we here? There we go. Come on. Click, will you, please? Come on. There we are. Area code 54049. Any questions or comments before we close up? Nope, just listening. Okay. Area code 937. There we go. Is it coming? There it is. Area code 93775. Any questions or comments? Your mic's hot.
Hey, Kate. Yes, hey, Kate, it's me, Vincent.
Yes, I was going to say 937. That might be Vincent.
Yeah, Dayton, Ohio.
Absolutely.
Yeah, quick question. Husband and wife were married, been together since high school, 86. That's me and my wife, actually. I get it. She doesn't want to hear anything about it. I mean, the only time we even were able to talk was the other night about the job thing. But when I try to tell her about, what words mean and all this other stuff, she don't even want to talk about it. What would you suggest? What I would
suggest is stop, because what you're doing is when that's your reality that you're trying to thrust upon someone that may not necessarily be ready for it. What you need to do is like that cookie jar effect. Okay,
Okay.
The minute you say somebody can't have a cookie out of the cookie jar, where do the kids go?
For the cookie jar.
Cookie jar.
Yeah.
Okay, so how I do that is very simple. If I ever came across someone talking about 9/11 or whatever, the other false flags, whatever, I said, 9/11, what the hell's that? Right? Now, here's how I turn the tables on these people. It's brilliant because they're all talking about this. 9/11, what's that? What? You don't know what 9/11 is? That's, well, 911, you call that for, I think, emergencies or whatever. What are you... And it's, no, September 11th, 2001. I said, oh, really? What happened then? And you let them tell you. You let them do it themselves, right? You turn the tables on them. You've got to be very subtle with this, especially when you're dealing with your spousal equivalent. But what I would suggest is just carry on the way you're going with your own journey, and don't talk about it anymore.
Yeah, let it go.
Let it go. Become the cookie jar.
It's the only way you can have it. Have what you want. Your desire is to have her see. Then you got to let go of the wanting. You've already intended it, and then if it's on her path, she'll see. But that's the only way you can manifest that in your experience is to let it go.
Well, and also grant it back to her as well. And here you can be completely honest about it because you can be. This is the whole purpose of this role here. You tell her, listen, I understand the things I talked about upset you, and I'm not going to talk about them anymore because it's something I care deeply about, but obviously it's upsetting you, so I'm not going to. You're more important to me than me, so I'll just leave it at that. You're handing the responsibility over. You're unconditionally loving enough that you can do that, and that's being the light. That's where that moth is going to go, straight to you.
Yeah, because letting go means letting go of the emotional attachment to the thing you don't want, which is for her not to see or share with you.
See, that which you resist, persists.
Yeah.
Okay, so that which you are recreating the cyst of by continually doing it, it will be for a cyst. All you're doing is cysting it constantly.
And Vincent, this journey is a lot of people are, couples and all kinds of relationships. People are different sides, of this. Many people. You're not the only one going through that for sure. You probably know that.
Most of us have lost the closest one to us. So the bottom line is this: be the rescue diver. Swim away. We're
not meant to be attached and to be needing other people. We're meant to love them and give them our gifts and move on, keep that energy flowing. We're not meant to remain attached to anything.
And here's the truth of it, Vincent. I know you love her dearly. And in that unconditional love, grant her beingness. If that's what she chooses, do not trespass on her free will. But make sure she knows it's her free will by telling her that you care enough about her that she's not interested. And you can tell her, he says, I know you're not interested in what I'm sharing because it can be upsetting, so I'm not going to share it anymore.
Oh, Vincent, here's a good one. There's a video on YouTube by Danny Searle called Soul Ages, and it's really, really informative. He goes through all this, the infant, baby, young, mature, and old souls, where those souls are on the planet, and it's very informative, and it helped me a lot to understand some of the people close to me and why they couldn't hear, and why they couldn't recognize me, and why they didn't understand. And boy, when I saw that, it was an eye-opener.
There you go.
What's it called, Tracy? What's that called again?
It's called Soul Ages. Danny Searle. If you just put that in the YouTube search, Soul Ages, I don't even think you need Danny Searle, but it's Earle. It's about, I think there might be two of them, and they're very well done. And he's Australian, and he's been astro traveling since he was a very young kid, and it's fascinating. But you're very likely an old soul. You're very likely an old soul, and she might not be.
In that regard, is you've come here to take care of the kindergarten kids.
Yeah, you're on mission.
We are all infinite souls. There is none older or younger than others. Some are just deeper in the game, and we're here to awaken that. Or not. I'm good either way. So I've only got about 8 minutes here, so guys, I'll keep you open there, Vincent. But I'm going to go up.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Thank you, Tracy and Kate.
Oh, anytime.
Thank you, Kate.
We only do it because we love you. So area code 703. I'm leaving your mic, all the mics open when I open them, so everyone's call. Area code 703. As soon as I can get this thing to click. Okay, it's trying. One more time. Blog Talk does not like me tonight. It doesn't like me most nights. Area code 703. Your mic is open. 70347, first two numbers. Questions or comments? Please say something. It took me forever to get your bloody mic open. What a pushy
Are you guys talking to me?
I'm talking to you, hon. How are you?
Oh, hello. I didn't know you. Sorry, I'm getting the kiddo ready for bed. It's Jenna. How are you guys?
What's that, hon? I missed the last thing you said.
I don't have the greatest signal. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just said, how you doing? I'm getting the kids settled in for bed. So.
Oh, lovely, lovely. We're doing great, and very happy to have you on the call. I do like to acknowledge people that call in when they do, and because you need to know you're as important as everybody else.
No,
so
thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, look, the dogs are off chasing somebody. Woof woof! Got to catch a car and get my commission. Cool.
Notice they're going away from this?
I know of it. They're not part of my realm anymore. No. Anyway, I'll let you get back to putting the kids to bed. We're going to be off the air in about 3 minutes here. So thanks for chiming in, hon. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, hon. Have a great night. And
love you guys.
Love you too. That's the problem with muting is it's funny. I can, as soon as I even look at it mutes. Anyway, last caller, area code 915. If I can get the mic open. You know what I mean? It's easy to mute, but boy, oh boy, try to get a mic open. Area code 915-88, first two numbers. Questions, comments?
Oh my, you brought me out of radio silence, Kate of Gaia.
Oh no.
Oh no. I've been listening a few times and been just truly amazed and blown away, and definitely sending back love and light back to you and everyone and Tracy on this call. This is Dr. C, and I hope it won't relate to the other word that you, not necessarily. Thank you so much. This is, wow, opening my mind and heart even more and more. I've been with Carol's call for almost 9 years, and I'm so grateful that she gave your name and number. And
well, say hi to
thank you
Carol.
for all that you have been through and doing and giving back to us in so many incredible ways. And I'm just honored, very pleased to be here.
Oh, me too. I'm just giving back the gifts that were given to me. That's what I'm doing. I have no consideration. Wow. A gift is that given without consideration. So it's most humbly granted and most humbly accepted. That's how it works. Look, neutral ground.
Thank you. Good night, sweet dreams to one and all.
Absolutely. Say hi to Carol. Carol's still on the call.
Carol, are you there? Dr. C here.
Hello, beautiful. How you doing?
Oh, you're the beautiful one, but thank you. I'll take some of that. Absolutely.
How's old El Paso?
Well, it's very interesting, the path to the north, with all of the incredible history here and characters and lots of colorful things. And I had added to a lot of that, I'm sure. Right now, I'm just very grateful, Carol. So beautiful to hear your voice, and a few others that, wow, many that are remaining silent. So I've come out, golly, I got over my mic shyness, and I'm out a little bit here. So
congratulations,
thank you so much, Carol.
I'm going to mute out, honey, because there's a short time, and I'm glad you said hi to everybody. Make sure you come and say hi to Kate again.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And hi,
back
Carol.
to you, Kate. Hi, Tracy. How are you doing, baby?
I love you.
Didn't I tell you guys? Didn't I tell you? It's just a phone call. That's all it is, guys. It's just people communicating, and gratefully, literally tens of thousands get to share it. So it's a beautiful thing, and this is a phone call to humanity. And it goes out into the ether because that's where it goes. The Ethernet sends it to Spirit Land. That's
hey, break down conference, the word conference.
Well, ferrous being metal, and I'd have to take a minute to look at that. Yeah,
when it's positive, it's a good word?
Well, again, no, every word is positive and negative, right? Because when I see like the letters E and R together, whether they're reversed or mirrored, that's why ER, in terms of Elizabeth Reign, is the mirror of Ra, son of God, or the light. Of course she has to be the mirror, and of course she has to be ruling right now. And when her reign ends, which is coming up very quickly, guess what takes over? Us. So we're just waiting for that energy to die off, literally. And that's not to wish ill on anything or anyone. It's all about time and place, time for everything, all things for a reason. This is
balance, yeah.
This is Hermeticism.
Cycles.
Yes, and when the actor has finished their role, they exit the stage. Hopefully they exit stage right into creation versus stage left, which is back to meat stick.
What was that cartoon? Exit stage left.
Uh-huh. That's why I wrote the essay. No. Exit stage right. That's where. That's where you're going to get out through the divine feminine. Only in the stillness of self. Only in that beautiful quiet. Once you can shut down Cain, the left ego, and let Abel do her speaking. Right.
Cool.
But anyway, we got about a minute left here. Much love to everybody.
We love you. Bye.
Love you, Kate.
Love you guys. And tomorrow night will be another open forum. Monday nights here. So we'd love to have you, and 7 to 9, same time, Eastern Standard, midnight to 2 a.m., Greenwich Mean Time, or in most cases 3 a.m., because we run this thing as long as we have the desire to. And you guys just make it impossible to not want to keep going.